friends. Clicking the mouse. We got it. We're recording now. I'm still not 100% happy with how my screen is set up, but you know what? Whatever. Welcome, my friends. Welcome back to the Krieg Dominion. I'm Omar Krieg, your Lord and Commander of the Krieg Dominion, and your host for this evening's events. This is Along the Frontier, an alien RPG campaign, and this is episode 28, Marine Country 4. And I am the game mother. I'm the game master, the GM, the guy running everything, the guy playing multiple voices. Sometimes not all of them, though. But yeah, all the other crazy things that I could say here. Just imagine I said it. With me are, of course, my wonderful alien players, Rodance, Luke the Fox, and Kane the Male. And if you said that fast enough, it would have sounded like Luke the Fox and Kane the Male, calling him either a man or a type of armor. I thought that was funny. I had to point it out. I apologize if anybody's thrown off by that. Let's take a moment to check in with my friends and see what's new and exciting for them over the last week or so. And meanwhile, I'll just be over here walking people through the process of how to select the perfect facehugger for them in order to meet their emotional support needs. Rodance, what's new and exciting for you, my friend?
Pretty sure there's a bunch of people in Florida right now who would appreciate an emotional support facehugger.
in some weird ways too, I would imagine. Like, you know what? Just take me out. I'm done. I'm done.
Hey,
this is 2 major hurricanes in a month.
I just have to say, at least it's not hitting the same place.
But
it's going through Central Florida over a place that hasn't had a major hurricane in 100 years, rather than up north and tracking through again.
Well, so
I'm just waiting because it looks like there might be another one coming right after that one.
Oh, that's amazing. Because, I mean, it is hurricane season, all BS aside. But
I legitimately wonder where we're going to get the money to rebuild these places, because I'm pretty sure it just doesn't exist. It's one of those, like, it's horrible and sad,
yes.
But I don't think we can, as a country or as individuals, could legitimately afford to rebuild to the scale of these storms now. It's just crazy.
I think the worst part, and I was thinking about this a little bit earlier today, because I don't know exactly where these hurricanes made landfall, like geographically in relation to each other. All I know is Western Florida, basically everything from the Panhandle to the Keys got utterly smashed, or are going to get utterly smashed if they haven't already.
So you know Florida is basically a giant upside down L, right?
That's one way to consider it, yes. I was thinking something a little bit more dark.
Went up and through. This one's going directly sideways. So
right, it's going directly
storm
over.
surge and surrounding rain are impacting duplicate areas, but the major portion of the hurricane are not.
Right, okay. So in my head, not knowing any better and not always being up to date on all the news and whatnot, because frankly the news is incredibly depressing to me and I refuse to watch it. Besides, it's also incredibly biased. Helene hit somewhere in the Carolinas or north therein. I don't recall exactly, and again, never really paid much attention. And now we have Florida just getting devastated left and right, and now apparently another storm, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, you know, this is really shitty because the economic impact is going to be felt for a long time from these multiple storm systems that are incredibly powerful, incredibly dangerous, and incredibly damaging to all sorts of different things. And I don't know how we're going to recover. I don't know what the process is. All I can say is it's going to come out of our tax money at the end of the day.
Yeah, I just saw an article that this year the insurance companies have requested for North Carolina that they be permitted to raise homeowners insurance by 40%. To 50% this year.
That is, I mean, just looking at those numbers in and of themselves, that is an astronomical jump.
No, that was submitted long before these latest hurricanes were even forming. This is months old, and they're still debating it. Just as a random side note. I'm like, this is gonna suck. I don't really want to pay another $500 or $1,000 a year for insurance, but
nobody does.
Looks like that's what we might be doing.
Yeah. Now, on top of that, from the economic angle and what that impact may look like for the rest of us here in the States, almost concurrent, there was a very, very thin line of, do the dock workers go to work today, or do they go and throw things at people? And those are like
Smart.
some major international ports, as I understand. Again, I'm not very
Yeah.
knowledgeable, but
All the Eastern Seaboard.
yes, that's what I saw. Was something like a
Specifically, what they
massive
were
chunk of the
asking
U.S. coast.
for was 70-something% pay raises over the course of 6 years, in addition to, which is effectively 9% a year. Keep in mind, 9% is not crazy.
No, not really.
9% is only on high years of inflation like we just had. You know, when it hit 7%,
Mm-hmm.
it would have just barely been a point over inflation.
Okay.
Which for merit pay raise, you're lucky to get a pay raise that is 1 or 2% in most places, if that.
Yeah.
So asking for something that's 1 or 2% over inflation, even if it's delayed by a couple of years, isn't crazy. The biggest sticking point is their complete halt of any form of automation that they're requesting, which is economically problematic if you're looking at it from the purely capitalistic point of view.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day,
do you want workers or money? And that's what the discussion is about.
I mean, that's really what it is. It like on one hand, a company cannot survive if it's not profiting. Period. Like, regardless of any other factor, that's really what it boils down to. Is a company cannot survive without making a profit.
Actually, yes, it can. All they have to do is sign up for some speculative investment income or the federal government. And we have some lovely prime examples, like only just this last year or so has Uber. You know how long Uber's been around? Only just this last year has it become anything close to profitable. Maybe it's 2 years before that. May I remind you of things like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac? Used to be huge home mortgage lenders. So yeah, you can have a perfectly profitable company without actually turning a profit.
Well,
just know if you how to play the system.
I'm going to point this out, and I'm not going to argue or disagree or what have you.
It's just crazy how it
I'm
works.
not an economist, obviously, because I would not be working for FedEx if I were. But I know this much. However you slice it, however you input and calculate and tabulate the numbers in your ledgers, if you're not turning a profit, you're not going to last long.
Yep.
Now,
they just
various
pull in
sources
money that
of
isn't
income
from selling of things. They're coming from loans.
Sure,
is their profit.
No offense to anybody who was going to watch this show in the future and has a business degree or works in business.
Oh God, they're gonna be driving. We're horrible.
Oh yeah, we're probably the thorn in their side right now.
But
God.
I did start going to school to get a business degree, and I changed majors when I learned how businesses can get money and how they're encouraged to get money. And I was like, nope, I cannot resolve my own personal ethics with continuing this degree. So
I totally feel you on that one. I just know, and when that happens, when you're sitting in that position where you're trying to figure out profit versus any other factor, you know, as a business, typically, right or wrong, whatever the case might be, whatever the other arguments might be, a lot of times it's you're going to lean towards profit, and of course that trickles down eventually. But here we are, we have this group of people whose whole job is to load and unload ships, and they're all like, no, fuck you. Pay us more or we're out. Various other terms may or may not apply. I don't know the whole story. Please, I totally 100% confess an awful lot of obliviousness and ignorance in the topic. But I know this. If they're not working, a lot of shit is sitting in port or in a warehouse. Not going to the consumer who needs it.
It was very predictable, actually. This has been an coming thing. It's funny because we could spend all night talking about it.
Yeah,
I'll just say
I was just thinking, like,
people,
wow, we
this
spent a lot of time here.
This is anticipated. This isn't new.
Yeah.
And it's just the same way that a lot of people have been grassroots efforts towards helping the natural disasters in addition to FEMA doing their thing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff's
there's a lot going on that is going to really mess with the U.S. economy. And the only thing I can say about how we're going to bounce back is that we're going to bounce back.
Like election years, man. It's always the worst in election years.
It's ironic how that coincided this year. I'm just going to say that because there are plenty of conspiracy theories about somebody with a machine pushing buttons causing storms. I don't know. That said, before we dwell on this topic for too long,
I think that weather machines would be lovely, but we sure shit don't have them.
I feel like if we had them,
we would not be having these storms.
I feel like if we did have them and we had anybody with half a brain running them, there would be a lot better moderated rainfall where our farms are, and that we wouldn't have these devastating storms killing thousands and thousands of, I'm careful pay attention to what I'm about to say, killing thousands and thousands of voters.
I'm going to put on my orange vest and put out some traffic cones on the topic of economy for you there, buddy. Because you're getting lost in that sauce right now.
No, I know. I need to bring it back, because really what we're supposed to be doing is talking about how back in the 1980s we thought communists were everywhere, including in space.
I'm holding up my stop slow sign, and it's turned to stop.
Back in
Votes
the 80s,
fair.
we thought there was communists up in space.
Luke, what's new and exciting for you? You've got some water problems as well, ironically, or
Yes.
if you follow certain conspiracy trends, maybe not. I don't know.
I mean, basically turning cars into boats, I guess, would be the thing that they're doing. I live next to a major river that usually has a high tide. So when there is rainfall, it usually kind of comes in and pushes its way through like the other river systems, but sometimes it gets clogged or something and it just rises.
Yeah.
It's chaos.
I can only imagine. All the talk about it with Hurricane Helene and now Milton, and every time there's a big hurricane storm system in the weather, I always think back to when I sat through a typhoon. I was in Korea back in 1998, I think it was, Typhoon Olga, which, if I understand the weather correctly, a typhoon and a hurricane are fundamentally the same thing, except one spins one way and one spins the other way, or something silly like that. There's a meteorologist that wants to throw lightning bolts at me right now because I said that, and that's fine. I will eat those lightning bolts. But fundamentally, the differences between a typhoon and a hurricane, at surface layer at least, are not much different. And
Not
that's the
ocean in which they are in.
That's what I thought it was too, to be honest. We had a creek. We called it Doo-Doo Creek. I don't know why it was called Doo-Doo Creek. I don't know if it had anything literally anything to do with shit, or if it was just because it was a Korean word. I have no idea. Or maybe it was a combination because we're Americans and we're dumb. I said it. Shoot me. This creek was usually
Pike
pretty
enters
low.
The chat.
What's that?
Pike enters the chat.
Pike enters the chat with a gun loaded. And when that typhoon hit, now I want to point out, normal days, this creek was probably, let's just say a few inches deep, maybe a foot if it rained, but it was already a few feet, if not 6 or 7 feet or more, lower than the top of the area through which the water flowed, if that makes any sense. When this thing flooded, because of Typhoon What's-It-Face, Olga or whatever it was, that water was damn near up to the top of the channel. We'll call it the channel, because I don't know what else to call it. And I was just like, that's a lot of damn water. And even then, I didn't really think about what a cubic gallon, or whatever measurement they use for volumes of water. But like, yeah, a river flooding is no joke by any stretch of the imagination. That is particularly dangerous. And I just talked all the time that you could have said some stuff. So please, Luke, resume.
No, I mean, we were going to go out tonight. I think we pretty much just settled on going to the corner store and then going from there. So a lot of weather, I guess, tonight going on for everybody.
Now, you guys aren't actually being hit necessarily by a storm system other than just standard yield rain. Am I right?
I thought we were kind of in the middle of like the hitting the Atlantic and the Bay of Fundy and stuff like that. There's something that's hitting us, but I'm not 100% sure on it because I remember Helena or something,
Helene,
or whatever the last one.
Yeah.
Helene was the last one, and it did hit us. It hit mostly Newfoundland, not Newfoundland, but Nova Scotia.
Okay.
And we're more mainland, I guess, so it didn't really affect us too bad. But whatever happened this time here, the whole bay is just
inundated.
Just rose, and then because the bay went up, the river went up. When the river goes up, everything else goes up.
Yeah.
So I think that we're getting the long distance effects of whatever Milton is.
Yeah, you could be getting like secondary, very edge of the massive storm system sort of stuff. I have no idea. Again, I'm not a weather guy. Storms are cool to watch. When they surpass just yield thunderstorm, it's dangerous. You
Yeah.
know, tornadoes, hurricanes, things of that nature. But yeah, it's eventually, as we joked about briefly before we started, eventually the water will run away. But it's just a matter of time, and then of course there's the cleanup afterwards. Kane?
Yeah. So that's pretty much it.
Sorry.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
That was a horrible transition on my part. I apologize. Kane, you're significantly more inland than the others, if I recall correctly.
Not significantly, but I
Well,
am
I
more
mean,
inland.
almost a time zone, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you all are East Coast, other than Luke, who is even further east.
Quite east.
Yeah. But you're also not on the seaboard, as I recall.
I mean, I don't live on the coast.
Right.
I'm still in that time zone.
Sure. Anyway,
We got some hurricane rain.
but again, I think you guys
But-
are like on the edges of it, though. Am I right?
But to derail your complete and total fixation on hurricanes and weather,
Please.
you know that moment where you buy a pickup truck and you're waiting for enough stuff to happen to justify that you bought a pickup truck?
Oh yeah, like all the reasons that the back of the truck could be used to haul shit around.
Yeah, somebody's like, man, I really want to get this couch. You're like, please ask me, justify this purchase. I will drive your couch. You know what I mean?
I haven't had that. In fact, as soon as I brought it home, I hadn't even brought it home yet. I was on the test drive and came home because I just was like, I'm gonna pull off over here and check some stuff. And my stepkid's dad, he was like, "Oh, you're getting a truck? Now I know who I need to talk to when I'm ready to move." I was like, "No."
So I've owned a Jeep for a really long time, and I've constantly been mocked by my parents for the horrible choice of buying a Jeep. I don't have a truck bed. Uh, I can't put a bunch of people in it. It's horrible on fuel economy. All the reasons that it's just a terrible purchase. But I love having my Jeep.
Mm.
I recently got asked because I like to help out the radio club with stuff, and there's an antenna site that they're looking to try to do some post-storm repair on, and nobody in the work crew has a vehicle that can drive out there now after the storm. So I got asked, hey, would you be willing to drive the work crew and their tools out to the site? And I was like, I'm sorry, do you need a Jeep? So
Do you need an off-road rugged 4x4 vehicle? I might know a guy.
I'm sorry. I thought your CRV was going to cover all of your four-wheel drive needs. So,
Beautiful.
so
That was amazing.
I'm enjoying this. I'm milking it. My poor father, I'm milking it for everything it's worth. It's like maybe there might be a tree down on the trail to get out there. And I was like, man, it's a good thing I have a winch and a chainsaw. And he was like, okay, I get it. And I was like, are you sure?
Do
Your
you get it?
CRV
Do you
didn't need a
really?
winch. So
Amazing.
that's my intro topic.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. We definitely spent 18 and a half minutes talking mostly about the weather. So let's talk about some other things like talent roles and updates. Do we have any of those that we need to do? You guys came off of a mission with a bunch of XP that you couldn't really spend as quickly as you normally do. Do we have any of those roles or other things that we need to hash out?
At the end of last session, I made one for light sleeper.
I saw that.
Mm.
Is there anything else that we need to do? Character sheet updates that we need to do?
Yeah, I need one of you guys to toss it on my sheet.
Oh, yeah. I probably should have put that together in my own head, but apologies. That's Wescott, right?
Yep. Now, are we going to go through? Are we going to introduce our new characters with their psychotic
Not
names? Or are we
yet.
going to leave that for another
Not
session?
yet. We probably won't get to that today, and that's a guess on my part.
Okay.
I feel like. Hold on. 7 was talent. Actually, what am I searching?
Yeah, she still has a broken nose. I keep forgetting about that.
My guesstimate of how we move through my list of things to do for what I've got prepped, I don't think we'll make it to that point this episode. I think that'll be next week. There's plenty to do, of course. And if I was a video game non-player character, I would say something like, "There's plenty of time or plenty of things to do, and not enough time to do it." Because, frankly, that's real life. Anybody else, as I just unintentionally closed that, is anybody else need anything added to the character sheets?
Not yet. No.
Okay. In that case, let's go to our opening. There's only the briefest of cold opens this time. A casket with the flag of the United Americas draped over, resting in the hangar bay. A group of Marines and crew assembled in a nearby room, the vacuum of space suddenly pulling that coffin into the void. Elsewhere, we see a young man. Once, he was called Lance Corporal David Watts. He is shown being gently restrained to a chair and observed by a pair of curious people, a man and a woman, both wearing matching lab coats, each carrying a clipboard and checking off various things on whatever forms are on those clipboards. And then lastly, the Tambatam arrives at the edge of the Mu Hercules system and begins its inward journey toward Tithonus Base, and there we see the surviving members of the Marine team under Pike's leadership beginning to stir from hypersleep. However, we're going to back up time. Things are going to like zip back in reverse for a few seconds, and then we go right back to our camera shifting to the interior of the ship, Staff Sergeant Pike and Lance Corporal Warren in the barracks area. Warren waking up with a light hangover, but without stress for the moment, because Pike has just found him with an empty bottle that Warren was cradling as though it was a small child when he woke up. Pike, you may start with whatever invective you want to throw at your soldier for being a drunken fool.
I hold up a shushing finger towards him, and I turn to the doctor.
Yes, the doctor's with you. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah. I turn to the doctor and say, I have not seen him drink anything, but him laying here instead of doing his duties is a problem that I can take care of as long as nobody's asking any questions, right?
I think the doctor who was walking with you to just kind of like walk with you to make sure that you were fully functional following your Nova binge. I think he does one of those like, I'm pretty sure I've got some paperwork to fill out. Why don't you come back before we hit FTL for a final look? And most likely I'll sign off on getting you sent back to your regular duties. And he has a smirk on his face for like 0.01 second that you see, and then he turns around and walks away and lets you handle the shit.
Pike will walk over and squat next to Warren and take the bottle and look at it.
Oh, it's quite empty. There might be just that tiny little bit of residue of JD down at the bottom. You know what I mean?
Wiggles.
Yeah.
Jack Daniels, yeah. Because that's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
And he's going to look him in the eye and say, you've got 10 seconds to give me a reason not to punch you in the face. Go.
Well, I guess it was one of those things where like I found the bottle, I was checking out the gear situation, and the thing just kind of called out to me. I thought I'd have one for the team.
Without the team? I'm sorry. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me.
Like, I don't care what you got to do to keep doing. I have a problem when you aren't fucking doing. What is all of that? And he points at like the weapons and shit laying on the floor.
That are probably still dirty. Carbon residue that hasn't been scrubbed off like it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. He can smell the fact that it is not clean.
Yeah, the fact that it smells much more like carbon than it does cleaning oil.
How fast can I get my wits together?
You can make a wits roll. I will give you a -1, and based on the results will be how, I guess, quick-witted / aware of your current situation that you are. Otherwise, you will be literally, I just woke up and I cannot form a coherent thought to save my fucking life. I need 5 minutes and a cup of coffee.
All right. Wits roll, eh?
Yep,
with the penalty?
-1. No stress. Although, you know what? You shouldn't have any stress. I feel like you should get a point of stress inherently because you have your team leader looking at you and you're literally caught with your hand in the cookie jar, or in this case, the whiskey bottle. So go ahead and take a point of stress and add that to your roll just because I'm a benevolent, givey-takey kind of GM. Oh! Oh!
You're so benevolent.
Can I vote for that one being
Yeah, please destroy me here.
yeah,
I'm
yes,
sorry. Hold on, I just
he
realized
may
the
or may
viewing
not
audience doesn't
use
know
a
what just
little blood on
happened.
his shoes.
So for the viewers who don't understand why I absolutely just lost my shit, he's rolling wits -1. So apparently the net result there is 1 die. I gave him a point of stress because, well, he's in a bit of a pickle at the moment, and he rolled a panic roll on that 1 die. Rodance,
So I
what were you
guess I
saying?
gotta-
I'm sorry.
I feel like he might be having the I'm halfway sitting up and now I'm overcome by my nausea from drinking so
Oh,
much.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Chucks.
Absolutely. I do need that panic roll, though.
Yeah.
It'll be even more hilarious if you get tremors. Oh, shit. Oh, you keep it together. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
forgot you
we
had
all
nerves of
have
steel.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you keep your shit together, but your stomach and your those little bones in your ears, they're all like, yo, up and down ain't what we thought it was, man. Maybe you should lay back down.
Yeah.
Although you do have your team leader getting ready to eviscerate you verbally, perhaps bluntly.
Mm.
Do you turn slightly green or really green?
Yeah, how
He's about to turn purple. Well, I mean, from the suggestions of everyone else at the table here, he's going to go upwards a little bit. Realize that turning green is probably the best option if he goes all the way upwards. He's going to start laying back down, and I don't know what's about to happen.
Like
You're still in your uniform, right? You're just passed out on the floor and
yeah,
reek of
yeah, I
booze.
think it's in
Yeah.
a bed or something. But yeah, he's probably maybe he took his top off. You know, so he's in his
I'm very concerned about
his
which
t-shirt. But I think what you see most importantly is you just kind of went into like what the shit is going on and why are those not clean or whatever exactly you said that I can't quite recall. And then your soldier attempts to sit up, realizes it's not a good idea to sit up just yet. You see that blood drain look, and he lays back down, almost ignoring you.
Well, as much as my joints hurt, I am still a monster of a man.
Yes.
I'm going to grab him by the belt, and I'm going to pick him up by the belt.
Okay.
Oh God.
I want you to make a strength roll. I'm going to give you a -1 as well because your joints are all like, yo, calm down, man. We haven't finished recovering yet.
How much does he weigh?
That's a good question.
He's a clean 200.
It's like I can curl that for breakfast.
Probably.
Yeah. Does that affect how many dice you get to roll or something?
No, I'm just looking to see if he's light enough that that there's no penalties or anything.
That he falls
gotcha.
into your encumbrance. Yeah, I was wondering about that.
We finally over
That's
encumbered
86,
Pike.
by the way. That's 83, by the way. 83 kilograms.
All right.
Well, you did it.
I succeed.
Yeah.
I think it's more if you're making the check because you're sick and sore more than you're making the check because you couldn't pick him up.
Yeah, I mean,
you definitely get it.
I'm picking him up. I'm gonna pick him up by the belt buckle, and I'm gonna walk into the showers. I'm gonna turn one of them on, and I'm going to like grab him by the top of his collar of his t-shirt to swing him around and shove him at the wall back there hard enough to hurt him.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm not going to make you take a point of damage or anything, but it is definitely going to be a stunning moment. So you definitely have, for a moment, all of your attention directed exactly on this person that just cracked your head against the back of the wall. Pike, you have his attention for a second, so if you want to say something after you bounce him off of a wall.
Puke if you're going to puke. Shower. Stop smelling like ass, and then come talk to me. And I'll walk out with the bottle.
I can't help but picture, by the way, that you're doing all this wearing a
I'm in my PTs.
No, I was thinking, what's
Yeah.
the word? The gown that you wear when you're a patient?
Johnny.
Yeah, and you
Oh,
got
yeah.
like the one with the back that's just open down the middle.
Mhm.
He's
When
just
you
like,
turn around to
get in
walk
there, take a
away.
shower, you ass smelling motherfucker, and he walks
Hey,
away.
I brought him his clothes. Thank you.
Yeah,
very
I
much.
know, but I can't help but picture that in my head because I'm weird.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Wescott is still sleeping in that chair back in his hospital room with her
Yeah.
chest armor still shot up and with
Yeah.
a broken nose.
Probably.
Yeah,
All right, so I
for
guess
now,
I
at
get
least
my
he's
stuff together.
He's gonna throw him in there. I mean, he flat out tells him just throw up, just get it over with, clean yourself
Yeah,
up.
that's
You
it's
can
gonna
rally,
be better
man.
that way.
You can rally.
Yeah.
I've clearly never done that.
Yeah, parade on out of there after you puke.
All right. He finishes showering, and he comes to find you. Where is he going to find you? I
I'm gonna
believe
be
you said his
waiting.
your office or something like that. Your little broom closet office.
Nah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm waiting just outside the showers.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. You come out. You're standing there. Basically, I feel like you probably threw some shorts on. You don't have much else on because you didn't bring a clothes in there with you or a towel in there with you. So you're just standing there wearing a pair of shorts, just dripping.
Okay. Because we're not rated R. I got it.
Yeah. We're PG-13, man.
Okay, PG-13. All right, so I've got some
I
skis
mean, I
on.
swear enough
Salute.
for our rating to go way up, but
Oh my god, yeah.
Grimchard James identified me from an anonymous survey simply because of my casual use of profanity, he said. He's like, oh, that was a very casual use of the word shit. That's gotta be Omar. He was spot on. Anyway.
All right, so I guess I see him
Yeah.
with my advanced observation role here, abilities.
Yeah, he's
And
not
with
hiding
my fast
either.
reflexes, and with
Yeah.
my fast reflexes, I salute and say, Staff Sergeant Pike.
Put your arm down, you drunk motherfucker.
I am trying.
Sit down.
Yeah.
And he'll take the bottle and he's gonna put it in his own locker. Is this the first time you've lost a Marine?
Yeah, I mean, we were at the garrison, I think, forever, and
Yeah, you with the I forget what planet it was on, but your unit previous assignment, you were there for like upwards of a year, possibly two,
Yeah.
depending on your character's backstory. So yeah, you
It was
hadn't
about
really seen
probably
any
2
real
years.
action.
He was in the 28th Garrison on Tientsin,
That sounds
Charlie
right.
Company.
That totally, definitely did something happen several months
I
ago
took-
that I don't remember.
I take lots of irrelevant notes.
That, as it turns out, that's not irrelevant anymore. It's relevant right now.
It is.
Anyway, please continue.
Yeah, so I guess that would be the first time that Warren had lost anyone as far as a
Well, hold
squad
on.
member.
Hang on. Sorry, I'm going to interject just for a quick second. Warren is the one that
Yeah.
got the Medal of Honor, isn't he? Or whatever it is.
Not a
Yeah,
Medal
but
of Honor.
oh yeah, no, it's
It's a Galactic
um,
Cross.
Yeah, Galactic Cross for saving everybody or whatever.
Okay, so maybe okay. Because I know we never really fleshed out fully like what happened for him to actually get it, but I kind of thought that based on what that award was, you've probably lost people before, but this time maybe this time it was a lot more personal because it happened.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
from your little tiny little group, and on top of that, not just losing Winston, but losing Watts effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is an opportunity for him to elaborate on.
Yeah,
on any
yeah,
of that.
absolutely.
So yeah, when I won the Galactic Cross, it was kind of a right place, right time kind of thing. One of my superiors was being ambushed in a convoy, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go over there and do my best. And after some people losing, some people winning, we were able to exfil, and they gave me that with the people because he was so important or something. With Winston, we became part of a team with Wescott. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. and Wescott and Watts, and I guess that was the first time that it was a really close knit group, and to have two people disappear all of a sudden, I don't even know what happened to Winston. No one said anything yet. All I know is bullet to the head or something.
Yeah, I got shot in the head.
Hmm.
Love how you chose your words so carefully.
He's not lying. He got shot in the head.
No, he's not. That's the barest facts right there. He was shot in the head.
There we go. I've updated my sheet a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much his explanation.
This is probably also the first time you've been with people for however X many.
I think at this point, like, other than... Because each of your individual missions have only been, like... The individual missions themselves have only been maybe several hours to a day or two. Plus, you know, a little bit of transit back and forth, plus a couple of days on the ground. But, like, the fact that that's all there has been when you're not in hypersleep, it's definitely a form of trauma bonding.
Yeah. And not being on a garrison where, like, you can
go
walk around and
home at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, this is the team. There's no one else. It's a skeleton crew almost in this Tambatam.
Yep. Exactly.
You kind of go, yeah, everyone here is gonna make it, right? Yeah. Kind of, maybe.
And then when you find out they don't, it hits harder.
Yeah.
With this kind of tempo, this kind of risk, a lot of expeditionary Marines don't have to deal with this kind of thing. You're looking at spending 2 or 3 weeks at a colony, dealing with plants and some wildlife, trying not to get an STD from the locals or leave any kids behind. It's kind of the norm for a lot of the expeditionary forces. That's kind of what you are volunteering for.
Yeah.
What we do here, what you've been thrust into, this is my life. And I was built to do this. I don't want you to think it's lost on me that this is not, you're not built for it. But they'll get back at the things that you've done so far. You have risen to an occasion that was not expected of you. You have survived things that you're not expected to survive. Not everybody can. If you want to keep up, you want to keep on with Winston and Watts, you got to fight for them now too. You let me know what you need to keep doing your job, to keep doing it as well as you have been, and I will make sure that you can keep doing the job.
What do I need? I guess I just needed some time to decompress, and I think it's almost time that I start working on the guns and everything, clean up, and get back to what we're supposed to do here.
This was your free pass. There is no more free pass. If you do your fucking job, I will have your back. If you stop doing your fucking job, my boot's in your ass. Understand?
It's a big boot, sir.
And those are some dirty fucking guns. Get at it.
All right. That sounds like scene to me. Is there anything else?
I'm going to go back to medical because he told me to.
Yeah. Yep. All right. We're going to go ahead and jump back to where the cold intro would have resumed, I guess. Pull up my notes here. All right. You have, come out of FTL. Oh my goodness. You have come out of FTL. Warren, unless you drink again before going into the hypersleep, you're going to wake up with that point of stress. Just FYI. So it's your choice if you decide to knock back a few when nobody's looking. or whatever the case might be, but otherwise that stress will still be there. I believe that's how that mechanic works. Am I crazy? Am I misremembering?
I think it's a he can't recover thing, and he has to do it more often, like every 8 hours.
It's a
he has to have
shift.
drink.
Yeah, every shift he
And
has to have a
two,
drink.
I think he rolled. Did you roll substances or alcoholism?
I think it was substances. He started
So
with
So I have
alcoholism
to-
is basically your gateway.
yeah.
You have to
Unfortunately.
get to substances at some point. Yeah.
So it's like
The
the holding.
alcohol's not cutting it out for you.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to. So if anything, he goes up a stress if he doesn't have anything. If he has alcohol, he doesn't recover, and then if he gets substances, he can recover. Is that what I'm hearing?
Sounds
well,
close. Caden's
it's
looking up the
only-
rule right now, it looks like. Let me see what he's got
You,
for us.
I mean, you need to pick a substance.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why things like it's just substances. So tobacco of any kind, caffeine technically. And then it gets into the more weed and then the more illicit as you go on, you know.
Okay.
Which
You
also
can have a little
all
coke
have
on the
very
side and all that other stuff.
I mean,
They
you can
all-
stop. You can stop at tobacco. You don't have to go for heroin.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
can if you want to, but you can
Yeah.
stop at tobacco.
I think for the
Yeah.
story, some of those would be interesting. However, there are some severe drawbacks other than the typical addiction related ones. Things like if you start smoking weed or if you start smoking anything, that smell is going to carry throughout the ship. It will give you away
Yeah.
pretty fucking quick. And
Every 8 hours,
yeah.
if you do not have your drug of choice, you gain a stress and you can't recover from any stress.
Okay.
So theoretically,
So I
if you're
think
not
he's gonna-
smoking something or consuming something,
Yeah, chewing tobacco,
More,
popping caffeine nut pills.
so
or whatever.
actually,
more bud for the bud gods, more skull for the skull throne.
wow. I've never heard it put quite that way before. However, I will point out, Luke,
Yes?
for Warren, in this particular moment, maybe this conversation that he's having with Kane is what actually puts him into something like nicotine or even caffeine. And that's where the addiction truly sets in as per the rules. Because Warren, on some not entirely conscious level, realizes that he can't get drunk every night. That's not going to
Yeah.
solve his problems. Oh, but hey, look, if I just start smoking a pack of cigarettes every day, or maybe chug
Or
8
just like
cups of
taking
coffee
a
every
obscene
day,
amount of caffeine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe that will fill the hole in my soul right now, and nobody will ever think anything about it because those are normal things.
He
I just
steals
wanna-
Wescott's box of chocolate-covered coffee beans out of the bottom of her locker next.
Ooh.
I just want to
Yeah.
state that
Yeah,
this is getting
there's-
really real because I drink about 1 to 3 pots of coffee a day.
That's a lot of
Now
coffee,
there's
bro.
there's a bunch of different ways to do the substance, right? Like when I took up smoking, it was to stop it was to keep my right hand busy. It was a nervous habit to keep my hand off my weapon. So I was constantly smoking, so I constantly was holding a cigarette. So it could even just be like to keep your hands busy, to keep the anxiety down, or if you have like a bit of a tremble, like having something
Or
to
to
do with your
leave
hand can hide it.
leave the area so that you can take like a break in quotation marks.
Yeah, and you'll see like a lot of people who have cigarette smoking as their thing will have like an almost oral anxiety fixation where it's the bringing something to their mouth constantly is part of the habit, and so you'll see some people like replace it with suckers or like chewing gum or something else that they can fiddle with near their mouth.
Or
When
whatever
I-
the fuck
when I
they
actually
call those
did-
tobacco tea bags.
When I
Yeah.
actually did quit smoking for 3 years, I had that oral fixation thing I had to work through, and it started with carrots. I would just munch on carrots while playing video games instead of taking a smoke break every so often, to the point where there was an awful lot of orange coming out, and I was like, okay, well, I need to find something else to do. And I realize that might be a bit on the TMI side of things, but when you eat a mega fuck ton of carrots because you got nothing else to do and you're trying to fill that oral fixation problem, your body's going to go through changes.
So
You've got
did your
lots of
eyesight get any better?
options.
No, not really. Not really. And honestly, actually, carrots don't help your eyesight. It helps the muscle strength, which is not exactly the same thing. The eye muscle
No,
strength.
and and they made up that in like World War One because they had so many root vegetables, and they were like, we need to sell these and make sure people eat them.
Yeah, that's the whole
so
reason
like,
why
it
there's
helps
so
your
much
eyesight.
sugar out there, or similar reason anyway.
In to add, Pike has flatly told you that he will help you with whatever you need to do in order to keep yourself running. So he's openly offered himself as a gateway to poor behavior.
Well, all I'm hearing is he wants to be your dealer.
Yeah.
He's gonna take you to every single, I don't know, camp shop for cigarettes, I guess.
Or methamphetamine, possibly.
Cigarettes.
or harder stuff, or whatever. Like,
or, hey, I got this new thing called Nova. You want to try some?
that will kill
you still have the one Nova pill, right?
I do still have a.
I bet if you cut that motherfucker in like 2/3 and give him 1/3, he might be okay.
That's not how medication works.
No, I know.
how quickly would I die?
I don't know. I'd have to make up. Listen, I made up Nova, so I guess I'd have to make up rules for Nova for normies.
Nova
like,
toxicity.
I mean, you could be like, you're like, okay, well, Warren, you're gonna die. Here's some Nova. Go ham.
Go ham while you still can. You got about 20 minutes, and then your heart is going to very literally explode. Oh, by the way, your heart rate is accelerating. It's not going to stop. All right, Wescott. It's a new day. I need that roll. I believe it's wits, no stress.
Empathy.
Empathy.
No
empathy.
Do I need that roll too?
No, you don't need to make any rolls.
Mine is specific to the fact that it's depression. You have to. Okay. Mine's a once a day depression check. Yours is a once a shift, so 3 times a day drug check.
And because you've been under, we'll just assume that whatever you decide you're going to do for your drug, that you manage to get a fix before you lay down, and it'll be just enough to keep your stress where it is. It'll be enough to, but it won't be enough to get rid of all of it. Just for a little bit of a trade-off there. So when you wake up from the ship. When you wake up from the FTL, you are still 1 point of stress, but you are otherwise okay. Unfortunately, Wescott, I think you're not even going to get out of the sleeping tube.
Oh, she's going to get up. She's just going to be very cryy.
Ooh, the weepy Wescott.
It's his day of his funeral. She's going to use that as an excuse. Okay?
Well, he's already... Okay. I didn't specify exactly when.
You didn't specify if it was before or after. So if it's right after his funeral or right before, she's still legitimately
that's true.
Wake up with an excuse to be all weepy.
Now, I will argue one small point. Absolutely can be weepy Wescott, if that's what you want to call it. However,
today is weepy Wescott.
But you are still quite unproductive and not very helpful in any other way whatsoever. It's literally just tears all day. Well, I mean, not literally,
the thing is, my flaw and his flaw are the same. It doesn't prevent us from being productive. It changes how we roleplay things and prevents us from reducing stress.
Okay, that can work. So,
like, she legitimately would go about her business, but she'd be sitting there tearing up like half the time.
Yeah,
is how I'm seeing it today. Instead of being, I'm not getting out of bed. Today is I just am crying because peeps.
Gotcha.
That's how she.
Yeah. No,
she she would suck it up in front of other people, but if she's just sitting in the troop bay doing paperwork, she's totally crying over paperwork.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So, having been shot by Pike and watching Winston get killed by Pike, how much stress does she accumulate when Pike is just casually in the room with her?
She probably accumulates stress every time he walks within touching distance of her until they hash it out. They have not hashed it out at all.
And I don't think now is a good time because you're not you might be able to think somewhat coherently and everything, but I think with all the depression roaming through you, it's not. I mean, you guys can have a conversation. I just feel like maybe some of that higher level reasoning of, well, we were under the influence of this alien creature when that stuff happened.
I mean, she still saw it happen. It's how she is or isn't going to process that.
Yeah.
But I do think just because I think it'd be funny and it's totally something Pike would do, he'd see that she's she's at a lower energy level and he's going to think he's being encouraging by giving her an attaboy.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Pike the fucking moron is.
So she's gonna walk up and clap her on the back and almost knock her over level attaboy, or something other flavor?
He's not gonna try to knock her over. It's just gonna be like an acknowledgement slap.
She's definitely gonna probably figure. Okay, I think she deserves an extra point of stress for that.
I won't argue. Listen. If you say things like, "I think my character should have more stress," I will never say no. Actually, that's probably not true. I would argue whether or not it would be, but yes,
Okay,
in this
so
case, yeah.
She
another point of
started
stress.
with 1 from the day before.
Yep.
She gained 1 because she failed her check, and she gets 1 from Pike from the first time she got physically close with Pike.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it makes sense.
Rolls up into her personal space, gives her a slap because he thinks he's being encouraging.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So what is on the docket for the first thing for today?
Well,
today...
my next question actually is for Warren. As you wake up out of the sleep tube, how you feeling, friend? What are the thoughts in Warren's head? What are his feelings?
What are his feelings?
Yeah.
He wants to avoid being any kind of useless today, so he is going to try to go for
you need a
caffeine
cigarette
and
or
ignore
something.
those.
Whatever it is,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? We actually do need to hammer this out really quick. What is your drug of choice? Not to quote a song from the 90s. I can't think of... Oh, it's Alice in Chains.
I think he's... Yeah. I think he's going to go for caffeine and cigarettes as a perfectly normal starting
absolutely.
method of trying to do this.
You wake up, you're feeling like, okay, I need to be productive today. The last time I woke up, I got my ass cussed out because I was a drunken slob. And then I had to go clean weapons all day, and that shit sucked. And so, like, your brain is already, like, trying to fire all the neurons in every direction but the one that makes the most sense. And you know the only way to fix that. To get those neurons back under control. To get those impulsive thoughts back under control. And there it is. It's right there. Right on the other side of the person's tube next to you. Over there in the galley. And maybe you have a pack of cigarettes and a lighter in your sleep tube, a la Sergeant fucking Aponte or whatever is Apone. That's it. Yeah.
Apone
wakes up with a fucking cigar,
puts the cigar in his mouth, and then gets out of
the sleep tube. So yeah, walk us through it, man. Talk to us. How does Warren take his coffee now that he's suddenly acquired an affinity for caffeine?
So do we have actual cups of coffee, or is it just caffeine pills?
Either or.
Probably both.
You could probably get either one. You could take the caffeine pills with you on mission, in case it goes longer than 8 hours.
I want to say that we also have Zapple sauce.
I don't even know what the fuck that is, and that scares me.
I had in my Marine MREs, they gave like half of the, so it was, I think they call it a strike. It's like a super MRE. And like half of the food products are caffeinated, including my favorite, Zapple sauce, highly caffeinated applesauce.
That's fucking scary. Also, somehow this is not surprising me that the Marine Corps would do this shit.
Half of the food in there was like, had a rebranded name to make it obvious what it was, and it had like 10 cups of coffee with the caffeine injected into it.
Damn. No wonder the Marines are so fucking weird.
I need one of those in my life.
You understand?
He just says a deadpan
like
too.
Do you know how much caffeine is in a normal cup of coffee?
Like 30 milligrams or some shit, isn't it? No, that's
from
soda.
32 to 42, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds about right, actually, yeah.
Yeah, the Zapple sauce. We've got to have Zapple sauce.
So I would have...
He probably has his Zapple sauce in his little snack pouch, and then he's drinking
he's got a Gogurt. He's got a Zogurt and a pack of cigarettes and a lighter in his sleep tube with him.
It's going to be a good day.
Yeah. So yeah, you wake up and you hit that fucking Zogurt or whatever it is. You light that cigarette, you get that first good puff in, and it's like everything is right as rain, my friend. Nice as rain. You're ready to go.
Doesn't that make it so you can drop stress now for this shift?
And now I thumb on my galactic cross and go, yeah, I got this.
I think now he drops the stress.
Yeah. Yep. We'll go ahead and argue that your stress is gone for now. He spent some private time with his personal item. Yeah, that sounded quite suggestive if taken out of context. Sorry, I had to point that out.
I'm phrase it that way.
Pike, now
Here
that
it
you're
is.
kind of well, you're getting up and you're moving around, checking on your guys, your team. Let me use a more gender neutral term there. Your team, everybody seems to be getting after whatever it is they got to do, almost automatically at this point.
We're gonna PT in the morning.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
We're running the ship,
Run it.
and then we're gonna do like alternate. We're gonna because it's just the two of them. We're gonna run down one side of the ship, and then one of them's gonna carry the other one back, put them down, run back down the length of the ship, and then they'll swap who's gonna carry who back.
I love it.
Pike's
Like
gonna
a
spend the
really
whole time.
complicated. Wait a minute. I'm like 200 pounds.
Pike's gonna spend the whole time running with like two like full size punching bags, one over each shoulder. So he's just gonna run the whole thing like that.
Amazing.
I'm pretty sure the handful of Marines left on the ship will be laughing with us, and all the sailory flavored Marines are going to be laughing at us.
Maybe.
Mm.
But some
Or
of
they're
them
all
will
gonna be
also be
laughing at
doing
us.
similar weird workout sorts of things. Because maybe there's another team that you guys hardly ever see, let alone interact with, doing their own thing on the other side. And after, like halfway through this series of shuttle sprints or whatever you're doing, carrying each other back and forth, they start emulating you a little bit. Like, you see one of them like, hey, that's actually a really good idea. Hey, go get me a punching bag. And you two start carrying each other all over the fucking ship. Let's go. Stop whining. Go. Eventually, Pike, you are approached by the one, the only, none other than Colonel Arnold. And he says, Staff Sergeant Pike, my office, 10 a.m. And he does not look that this is a guy that has historically been like deadpan, no emotion, and dead in the eyes. This time it's a little bit different. His tone's different. It's a little bit more edgy, hard. I can't quite get that tone in my voice because I'm fucking too easily amused by everything. I have to actually literally be pissed off about something to get that hardness in my voice.
He's gonna look at his watch. How much time does he have?
You've got about an hour. Just enough time to shower, eat, and put your soldiers on, not your soldiers, put your Marines on task.
Okay. We'll finish the length we're doing and then head back to the showers.
Yep.
Want you guys to do an ammunition inventory while I'm gone.
If ever I've heard busy work. Sorry, please continue.
We gotta unseal and open the cans, count the individual rounds, and then document it and reseal the cans.
That seems so stupid when it's already sealed.
That's a thing that happens.
There are certain elements of the military that are absolutely laughing at you and going, I've done that. Why is it so funny?
Yeah.
See,
then again,
how many military veterans I have in my viewing
audience,
but there are some that are right now going, that hurts my soul, man.
After seeing the number of reports of spare parts of certain countries' military walking off, I can kind of see why they do it.
Yeah, well, there's probably a reason. Sometimes that reason is somebody's bored and needs 700 people to do something stupid to keep them from getting into trouble.
I've seen a green text that was like, okay, Private, go out there and rake the leaves in the woods. And then they just sent this one guy out into the woods. And then the green text was basically saying, like, I was just, raking the woods of all the leaves. And then the other green text underneath was, so I was attacking this base with all my buddies, right? Whatever it was, the opposing force. And we saw this one guy raking the leaves and we thought, no, we can't go there. This is obviously a trap.
Because anywhere else, that would have been indeed a trap.
See, as far as Pike is concerned, this is light duty.
Yeah.
And it puts you in a spot where you guys can talk. And if anybody comes in, you're actively tasked with something. So you're not awaiting somebody else's bullshit task.
Yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
This is how the military game is played.
Count bullets.
This is how the military game is played.
And then let me move this up my inventory. I'll put my uniform on and go see the colonel.
when you arrive, his tone and his... Again, we've described him as deadpan, not a lot of emotion. If there's anything to read, it's really, really hard to make out. He almost looks, if you didn't know any better, he almost looks angry. But you're not sure when you look at him if angry is really the right word.
Staff Sergeant Pike reports as ordered.
Come in, have a seat.
Come in. Has the seats.
I have some concerns about your team and the mission that they have gone on. I've read the preliminary reports, and I have seen the body cam footage. Let's start there. I'm not going to go... This is not going to be a full mission debrief as per our norm. I need to get inside your head and help me figure out what it is that I saw. Video feeds. I'm going to have to explain this to somebody.
Well, sir, I won't waste your time by guessing. What questions do you have? And I'll answer them the best I can.
You killed one of your soldiers, one of your teammates. That's what's on the video cam. On several, in fact. Well, yeah. 3, I guess. One being shot, the other one also being shot, trying to protect the other one, and then your video camera that was like, I'm shooting them. They all have name tapes.
And you're just singing to yourself while you're shooting them.
It's Madonna's
Why
Like a Prayer.
Why can't we be friends? Bang. Why can't we bang be friends?
I was thinking more like a prayer as per our Imperial Maledictum the other day, but yeah, whatever.
I've also reviewed the camera footage. I don't think there's any doubt I killed Winston.
It is only because of the nature of that mission, what your intentions, what your orders were, and the various other circumstances revolving around the Talos station, that has you still in position to be a team leader. By rights, you should be lined up for execution. You are aware of that, yes?
In normal circumstances, that's what I would be expecting.
I don't think your firing on your teammates was intentional. I don't think you were in the right mind at the time. The only evidence I have to support that idea, however, is the reports of what this station was actually doing. That it was using the, I guess, subliminal message output capabilities of the alien creature.
We knew going
he wants to use the word telepathic, but he knows that if he says that, everybody will laugh at him. So I gotta find a scientific sounding reason.
We knew going into that mission that we were trying to deny the enemy the capability to incite madness and nonsensical violence. That capability was likely to be turned on us during the mission. That's why I tried to push the tempo as hard as I could.
Indeed. And your report, those preliminary reports filled out by your teammates while you were still in recovery, corroborate that. This is why I've decided during your next 72 hours of liberty, you and your team together as a one have a very specific task that needs to be handled. You will meet with the unit psychologist. Your team will have this meeting, and you will do whatever it is that this psychologist requires in order to ensure that your team is given the green light to continue.
Understood. How much are they cleared to know?
They've briefed the general themselves.
Are they cleared to know every detail of the op we just did?
My understanding is yes.
Understood.
I want to be clear. I'm not happy about this particular outcome. Not happy about this particular course of action. I won't say I'm backed against a wall, but I see no other recourse to, in a legitimate manner, clear you and your team of any wrongdoing in order to allow you to continue in your current role. Of course, that role is in a roundabout way working. You are working.
Yes.
So make sure your team goes to see the head shrinkers and make this shit happen, and we can move forward. Otherwise, I've got more problems on my hands that I have time to deal with.
I don't aim to make more problems for you, sir.
Excellent. 1300, I need your full official report completed and turned in to me. Any questions, Staff Sergeant?
Where and when for the head shrinker?
I will forward you the information prior to your team's departure for... We will be arriving in about 6 or 7 hours.
Understood, sir.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Dismissed. Close the door on your way out, please.
He stands up, gives a salute.
He gives one, it's like a very sharp, like, it is textbook, but it is so fast. There's no holding, it's just up and down again. But it's textbook, and there's no emotion in his eyes while he does it. I don't think he even makes eye contact. I think he's already turning to whatever fucking document that he's got to review next.
Automatic.
Yeah, exactly. But it's fucking textbook. It's got the upper arm is parallel to the not quite marching surface of a ship.
And he closes the door on his way out, and he heads back to the troop bay. To go finish his full comprehensive report for Colonel Arnold.
Yeah.
It includes everything, like the fragments of stuff that he remembers about the confusion, like seeing the forest on the station.
Yeah, because in your mind, what you recall of that, for those brief moments, you weren't on the station at all, period. Like, in one moment you were, in the next moment you were not. You were in the forest, Eckhart was dying in your arms, and UPP soldiers were closing on you. And then when you came out of it, you're back on the station again. Winston's already dead. You're barely cognizant of all of that.
He does lie. He does not say that it was Eckhart. And he doesn't say what Eckhart told him. He puts down that it was Szymborski, and that Szymborski told him that if he can't kill those guys, the war fails.
Okay.
We lose the war if you don't kill those men. That's what he puts in the report.
All right.
Yeah, and
I'm sure that will never come back to haunt you later.
Well, and then I think a good chunk of my portion of the report would have already been done while I was babysitting
Probably.
him.
Like, you would have done, like, the outline work. Like...
Oh, I would have done at least all my personal individual reporting as well.
Yeah, and then...
I just wouldn't have turned it over without running it by Pike.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Warren, you would have had some input in there as well.
Yeah, my report would have been absolute chaos.
That's about what it was at that fucking auxiliary dock. It was just knives, guns, a grenade at some point, fucking Watts disappearing, Pike showing up going, "What's going on?" You're like, "I don't fucking know."
It was only like 30 seconds.
Yeah, this is all in the span of like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, probably
chaos.
5. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think in the report, he writes very glowingly, Warren single-handedly holding off an enemy strike force despite facing overwhelming odds with that epic grenade throw.
I mean, yeah, that right there truly was the verbatim of what you just said. Like, it was like 7 people coming off that ship, and Warren is just like, frag out, I guess.
And for Wescott taking the first round for Winston, he writes it in a negative light. That rather than engage the clear and obvious threat, she chose to instead risk losing 2 Marines instead of sacrificing 1 to put down a threat.
Does Wescott see that?
Wescott would have pointed in her section that she was still zip tied and had her weapons confiscated.
Okay.
But I mean, he's not going to like change any of their language or anything. He's going to submit their stuff as like addendums to his. But
Yeah.
In his own write up, he's like make no effort to engage
Neutralize
the
the
threat.
threat. Just tried to save somebody who was bound to die anyway. Okay.
Block the shot from the guy who actually has a gun and could do something.
Yeah.
It's Pike's opinion.
Yeah, it's Pike's. This is what Pike
opinion.
remembers. And as we all know, Pike's brain has been a bit scrambled, especially lately. Especially with those pesky feelings for that woman.
All right.
Yeah, this weird humanity that's trying to creep into his consciousness.
What's up, Luke?
We shall never know what would have happened if Winston would have actually shot his shotty at Pike. You
really were getting ready to shoot him, weren't you?
Well, no, because I mean, if he shot like Wescott a couple times, I would have been like, oh my god, I gotta do something, but like probably just like a winging again, and this time actually like.
Good.
Yeah, no, good.
No, I was gonna say, I'm wondering, like thinking in character in that moment, did Winston even realize what was happening before it was too late to do anything about it?
No, he probably didn't even realize what
because
shot.
Pike all of a sudden wheels about, shoots. Wescott takes the first hit. Pike's like, I've got more, bitch. And then Winston goes down. I mean, it happened about that fast.
Yeah. I don't think he fully registered that, because, I mean, he wouldn't have registered right away that Pike was shooting at him.
Yeah. Especially with Wescott literally leaping into the way for that first shot.
He's standing in line to meet, who was it, St. Peter, who guards the gates?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's suddenly in line going, wait, hold the fucking phone. What just happened? Did that just happen? Oh my god.
That happened fast.
Yeah. Hey, it can happen that fast.
Now, to be fair, I'm looking at his sheet. He got a severed ear, and then he went out cold.
And then died to asphyxiation.
Yeah, he did actually die from asphyxiation because he had passed out as the lack of atmosphere was bleeding out into space.
Yeah. That would have been the official method of passing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was because he got shot. Like
100%.
Yeah.
With like 9 damage or 11 damage or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pike does work his he goes back to the troop bay. He'll like bring his paperwork and like sit down at the table. So like he's in vicinity of the two of them while they're counting bullets while he's just doing paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all collectively doing busy work until he's done.
Okay.
Okay. Does Warren have anything to say or ask while Pike is missing at the meeting? They're meeting with our Colonel Arnold.
Man, really sucks about Winston and Watts.
Yeah. The head shakers don't sound like they're going to be able to bring Watts back to himself anytime soon.
No, after seeing what happened down there, I don't think he wants to come back either.
Mm-hmm.
What about Winston? What happened with him? Was he shot by combatants or something?
It's so hard not to ask a leading question.
I'm sure you've asked variations of what happened. So you know how the mission was that we're supposed to go on to prevent weird fucky mind shit?
Yeah.
So I walked into the data center to shut down the signal, and and then I just am gone, blacked out, walking through a forest until I get shaken by Winston as I was about to walk down the stairs. And just, like 2 minutes later, something similar to Pike happens, except unfortunately Pike actively had a gun in his hands at the time.
Shit.
Yeah.
All right. So
that monster thing we hauled back, we're pretty sure is what was. I mean, I've never seen mindfuckery like that before. It's got to be their freak alien thing in the station in combination or something.
Yeah, it was such a big alien too, eh?
Uh-huh.
Almost Warren is Canadian. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But it unfortunately was just a bad situation. Oh, little bit of tissue.
Yep.
We're gonna
A
get
little bit of tissue too.
Yeah,
hand
Warren.
him over some of my stash of tissues. God,
Warren, I need you to make.
we got so much stress to work through for this.
Yeah, Warren, this conversation is triggering something inside you. I hate to use the word
Yep.
trigger, by the way, but it's definitely doing something. I need you to make an empathy test. -2.
-2.
Correct.
Do you go
Nice.
to a floor of
Just-
1?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's absolutely a minimum of 1. Sorry, I forgot because I even called it out earlier that you only have 2. So actually, you know what? Just don't worry about the penalty. Just give me that empathy straight, no stress.
Empathy straight, no stress.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah. You having this conversation and talking about the specifics as to what happened with Winston, what happened with Watts, you're getting the jitters, my friend. You're getting an itch at the back of your skull, but it's not in your skin. It's under the skull. You need a cigarette, a cup of coffee. It's like you're
Well, I
starting
mean, we're
to
the
get...
perfect place to get it.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, I mean, it's Space 80 space station. Space cigarettes are spacing alone.
Listen, you could smoke anywhere in the Tam unless somebody has very clearly said, don't smoke here. That was clearly illustrated in the movie Aliens.
And
Bitch is literally
actually, it was clearly illustrated earlier, although it was made in a movie made in the 70s when you could literally smoke anywhere.
now, amusingly, anytime you imbibe a cup of coffee in this game, you take a point of stress.
Yeah.
So
as you get your caffeine high and your jitters.
Yes. So yeah, whatever exactly you're gonna do with your addiction thing here.
It's probably a cigarette for now, because that's what you were kind of referring to.
Yeah,
I'll
you're
take
definitely.
a point of stress
Listen, there's been a few times where I needed a cigarette. I definitely had a sensation in the back of my head. Yeah, no. If you want to light up right here, this is the best place to do it, I suppose. Until your compadres say this is a non-smoking area.
Can someone drop a cigarette pack to my character, or that doesn't matter?
No, you're good. We can.
All right.
I don't even know if a cigarette pack is actually an item.
You can just create items.
You know this ad hoc section at the bottom of your inventory?
Plus, if it's in his inventory, then drop item can have him drop his cigarettes.
Yep.
Unfortunately, there is nothing called cigarette in here. So, I can create an item though.
Yes.
Yes. What kind of cigarettes would you like to smoke, sir? We can name it Marlboro Reds if you want. Although we probably shouldn't, because this is something of a published...
Oh, no. Instead of dealing with copyright, you could just say that he has a pack of Cowboy Killers.
Yes. Cowboy 100 Red.
Yeah.
Cowboy Reds, 100 millimeters. It is... Let's see. What kind of item is this? This is just an item. What folder are we going to put it in? We're going to put it in...
You just create it in his inventory.
Oh, can I? I'm creating the item into the item directory.
Oh, nice.
Equipment. Alien RPG equipment. Create new item. Cowboy Reds, 100 millimeter. This, and then we'll just do this. Call it one standard pack. 20 100 millimeter cigarettes. Great for relieving that momentary burst of increased stress and or addictions.
And I have to have like a 20 pack and then somehow manage to not run out and then be like without it or drop the pack.
Well, so here's what we'll do. You'll have the 20 pack like constantly once I drop it onto your sheet. Narratively, you'll have however many cigarettes you need, right? You'll always be able to, like, as long as you mention something at some point, like, oh, we're going on a mission that might last 6 days. I'm going to make sure I have like half a dozen packs of cigarettes or a carton or something. And you'll always have them. Now, when you drop them, that's when you realize however many cigarettes you have, you've either dropped and or can't get to the rest of your stash.
Yeah.
If they get dropped, obviously. So, I mean, look.
Okay.
Cowboys.
I'll manage it.
And then we look for Warren. This is so amusing to me. I don't know why. It should not be this amusing to me. But here I am. And I'm going to put it in
I'll play around with the options when I,
inactive. Yeah, and then you could just change the number as you need it, because it's a pack of, if you, I think, right-click on it. Oh, I don't know. If you look at it, I think it should give you like a description. It should be like a pack of 20. So.
Yeah. One standard pack, 20, 100 millimeters cigarettes, great for relieving momentary bursts of stress and or addictions. Wait, I'm going to.
No, there's no way.
All right,
for one. The carton, I'm not gonna fuck around with the weight. Wescott. As you guys are going through this ammo inventory, and obviously Pike is busy with his paperwork and he's getting ready to go turn it in, you are notified by Mother that Winston and Watts' lockers need to be cleaned out in order to make more room for new incoming Marines later on today or tomorrow. And the cleaning needs to happen today. The new Marines are arriving either later today or tomorrow.
So,
and Mother has put it on you because Mother somehow knows that Pike is already busy.
Yeah, so Wescott will go and grab the appropriate paperwork in boxes or bags or whatever the cases are.
Okay. While going through their belongings, could you make me just a real quick observation roll, please? I almost said awareness. No penalties. Don't worry about stress. It's nothing big.
I have a broken nose, remember? That's actually a penalty to observation.
What?
So
Include
I think
that,
it
then,
might
I
actually
suppose.
be. It'll actually, I think, get baked in when I roll it.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I'm not pushing that.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
Because my observation is 5, 6, 7 dice. I'm actually supposed to have one less than that.
That's fine.
From the
Yeah. What you do
broken
find
nose.
that is a little curious is a Ziploc bag, and inside that Ziploc bag is a syringe and 2 shotgun shells. And this is in Winston's locker.
I mean,
are you sure you don't want to push it?
Fine, I will push it.
Don't worry about
all the
that.
panic.
Don't worry, no, ignore that. Or roll it and then we'll clear it.
Which is just not roll it.
Yeah.
Well, I have Iron Will thing. I have the Nerves of Steel, so
Yeah.
I get 2 successes.
When you look through this, you notice that it looks like Winston's handwriting, as far as you could tell. But he took a black permanent ink marker and wrote Pandora on the Ziploc bag. And then he took the Ziploc bag and rolled it up all nice and neat as best he could. And then just basically buried it in his locker, where it would be kind of difficult to find unless somebody knew what they were looking for.
I very carefully set that aside in my belongings.
Okay. I'm curious to see where that's going to go.
Well, Pandora was the name of the planet we were on for the mission where we were on the airfield, right?
Yes.
I'm not forgetting it.
Yep, that's correct.
So I don't know why he would have done it, so I'll bring it up
I know
to
why
Pike,
he would have done it, but I'm the GM and I get to know these things. But...
So I would mention it to Pike on the side quietly, because I'm not putting that in his personal effects to either be returned to his family or his military issue gear to be returned to inventory. I just put it aside and hand it off to Pike, because I figure anything labeled with any of our mission stuff is not allowed to go to the either.
That's probably a safe bet. I mean, it does only have the word Pandora on it. Doesn't
but even
necessarily
that's
mean anything.
restricted information based on the types of missions that are going on.
I mean, fair, probably would be, but arguably, Or
It's
more
not
accurately.
public information, therefore I cannot return it to his family
Sure.
or randomly drop it into inventory. It has to be managed.
Yeah. No, ultimately you're right. It could be argued that it's just a word. It's a Greek goddess. I think Greek.
I mean, is this one of the like morphine injectors from a med kit?
Yes.
Oh, I mean, Pike looks at it and goes, "Looks like trophies to me."
Somewhere in the back of Pike's head, he hears ding, 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 ding.
I give him a look going,
You don't remember
I'm just going
those?
to leave this with you because I don't think we should send them back to his family.
I mean, if his family didn't know this about him, then, they can remember him the way that he wanted them to remember him. He's so, like, this is totally fine in his attitude.
Staff Sergeant Pike, may I remind you that
I'm a serial killer in training, guys.
Trophies
aren't you
isn't
proud of me,
generally
Mom?
considered socially acceptable. And while it's on the down low among military personnel, it's not considered acceptable among civilians. And I'll just mumble that very quietly and then go back to sorting through his stuff.
I mean, good eye. I should probably brief you guys on burn boxes. And he'll just like wrap it back up and he'll stick it in his locker.
I finished clearing out their lockers. This is probably why she's sitting there crying.
Yeah,
quietly to herself.
When you're making your way through Watts, and this could be either before or after your brief conversation with Pike regarding Winston's serial killer trophy shit.
Pike is just like, oh, okay, he took trophies, whatever.
I love how you're like, yeah, whatever. Just send it back to his parents. I'm sure they'll love
trophies.
The part I love most, I'm sure his parents will be just totally fine remembering their son as a serial killer.
No.
I'm just shaking my head here.
No. He was like, she was like, maybe we should have sent this back to his family. He was saying, oh, they should remember him the way that he wants them to remember him.
Yeah.
And that's why we're going to keep these instead of send them home.
Okay. I totally misunderstood that. That's totally on me, but it's a lot funnier in my world.
No. This was Pike going, oh, yeah, I mean, he killed random people, but unless he told his family about it already, they don't need to know.
Yeah.
That's his private business. It goes.
You're just gonna get like a big-eyed look from Wescott as she goes back to clearing stuff out because she totally misunderstood.
All she heard was Pike going, "Okay, cool, he was a serial killer." Yeah.
For Watts, what you find is what appears to be a rat nest, not a literal rat nest, to be clear, more like a stash, in the bottom corner of his locker concealed behind a panel. However, it looks like the panel has been messed with in the last couple of days, and there are a couple empty mini liquor bottles left open. Watts might have had such a stash, perhaps more on the ship as well, but to your knowledge, he never would have left these exposed. Now, I put this one in here because as far as I can recall, and even now to this point, it's still an accurate statement. You've got no real idea about what happened with Warren because you were sleeping that time.
Well, I mean, I dispose of random inappropriate bottles in the place that everyone knows to throw random inappropriate bottles, the trash compactor.
Of course.
And I pack up his stuff and split it up into personal effects for surviving family members and so on.
Okay.
Yes? I'm just trying to remember the next time that Pike is not going to be in line of sight of the troop bay.
When he goes to drop off this after action report to Colonel Arnold.
Yeah.
I don't think that's quite enough time. So, yes. She totally has a patch of set armor art ready to slap on it as soon as his back is turned.
You do remember, like, Pike was out for a while before he woke up, where you had plenty of time. Like,
oh yeah, she actually, let me take that back. She would have already done it. She has adjusted his armor art.
Okay. Has Pike looked at his armor at all since coming back to the ship? No?
Not yet.
All right, this will be funny. I don't remember if you told me
beforehand.
Huh?
It's a surprise to you Kane and I already discussed it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's hold off until we actually put the armor on, like just before we deploy to the next mission, because I'm sure I'll fucking die laughing or some shit at that point. It'll be amazing. While you're doing all this, Wescott, you find yourself having a little bit of downtime, and you are probably kind of emotionally just blah at this point, right? Totally out. Like you're drained, absolutely. So maybe you want to take a break or something. Would it be out of line to say maybe you go and take a small nap or something to that effect?
We have busy work to do, so no, she's not allowed to just go take a nap. She has to sort this out, and then she has to go back to counting ammo.
Do you though? Does she though? Like this is an emotionally draining day, and you're doing a very mind-numbing task. Except the part where it's not really numbing your mind at all. You just got done cleaning out your effectively.
She frankly would rather go run laps and do PT than she is counting ammo.
But
and
you are on a down day, so running laps may get replaced with go take a nap. Your bed is strongly calling for you right now as you finish up cleaning out these 2 lockers.
Well, she would have to go deliver them to their appropriate locations.
Yeah. But you're now on your way back, and let's just say
she knows she's not going to get a nap because Staff Sergeant Pike is sitting in the middle of troop bay.
No, he's busy turning in. He's busy turning in the paperwork to Pike.
No. She would know that she's not going to get away with that. Okay. But she can maybe get away with an excuse to go run some more PT by herself.
Okay.
For some alone time. To process.
30-pack of natty and a 5th of Jack. Holy shit.
God.
A 30-pack of natty, I think, was the best part.
Dude, we're not going to discuss how much natty I've pulled out of random containers in the back of the damn closet. I have gone through that life stage with somebody else. Not going to happen here.
Oh, man. A 30-pack. That's my favorite part. Because it's very cheap shit beer. I don't think calling it beer is really right, but the fact that you can get 30 cans of it.
It's like saying malt alcohol of any kind.
It's like that. It's like that.
It's very cheap alcoholic piss, is what it is.
It's like that LaCroix water. It's beer that sat next to other beer.
Yeah, like a homeopathic beer.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well, fine. We'll dance. We will dance around.
Oh, no.
Go ahead.
She's totally going to go to Staff Sergeant Pike and ask for a break from ammo counting to go run some laps in the gym.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to go work out? Put on your PTs. Come back in an hour.
Yeah. Because it's a perfect excuse to get out of his line of sight in a way that taking a nap would not. Okay. And nobody's going to know if she was just jogging in there or sitting in the locker room for a while.
So where do you go? Do you go to the locker room and chill out?
I actually go and probably like half-heartedly jog around the PT track for a while. Because there's got to be a gym track around on the ship because we've already covered that before.
Yeah, there's definitely a route.
We run through a circuit. We run through hallways on the ship.
Yeah.
So you just probably do the regular run route that Pike keeps making you guys do.
Yeah. I just light jog it. Just because it gives me a chance to run through empty hallways without Pike staring at me. You know, the dude who just shot me last mission.
Yeah, you probably got a nasty bruise on your chest too.
He shot through my chest plate. I went down, had to stand back up with second wind. Yeah. He probably did damage, and the med bay had to patch it up after they finally pried me out of hot mess of armor panickiness.
Yeah. As you're making your half-hearted laps through the ship, you notice somebody joining you. It looks vaguely familiar, but you're not looking at him directly unless you choose to.
I just look to check to see who it is, because it doesn't sound like either of my two.
It's Tom.
Ah. Didn't realize you're back on the ship, Tom. He doesn't have a military rank, so he doesn't get a title.
Well, he's a military contractor.
Yeah, but they still don't have ranks.
No. He doesn't really say a whole lot. He's just like, yeah, sometimes things happen. And he just
vague fist bump. Back jogging.
He gives one back. What What's going on? What's running through your head?
Just a bit of a rough mission.
What happened?
She just looks at him and goes, "You know, most people can't talk about what actually happened. Just, we got the mission done."
You lose someone?
She just had nods. I just hold up 2 fingers because she's not saying it out loud.
Yeah. Because if you say it out loud, then it becomes admissible in court. That's how the logic works. It's not exactly that way, but yeah. He continues to jog along with you. He doesn't really say a whole lot.
She's still jogging with a broken nose and everything.
Yeah, I think
he's huge.
So he's trying to get he's trying to allow you to speak, say whatever you want to say, without saying anything other than, go on, continue. I'm listening. He's trying to. Doesn't want to guide you. He wants you to let it out. Is effectively what he's trying to do without saying just let it out.
I had to pack up some stuff today.
Yeah.
Sort it out, ship it to where it's got to go. I have to write some letters too.
That can be rough.
Gotta have to get that done probably sometime today. Send it back before it needs to go.
Tough, isn't it?
She just nods.
It's really rough when you have a real relationship with somebody and then it's suddenly abruptly ends without any closure, without any preamble. I see you laughing.
Yeah, even with one being stuck in the hospital for an indefinite amount of time, it's still rough.
I think he stops and he reaches for your hands with both of his. And he doesn't grab your hands. He just kind of reaches, like offering, because he knows that, grabbing your hands could be assault or something. I don't know. It might be the space 80s, but it is the future. Maybe humanity has not been quite so toxic to each other. I don't know.
Or maybe just don't randomly grab a Marine.
or yeah, could be anything.
Yeah.
That's a safety concern.
Okay. May I remind you the last time what happened when someone randomly grabbed me? I stabbed them.
I don't recall specifically, but please continue. I'm
looking at Pike.
Well, Pike probably deserved it, but
do you not remember?
I don't, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
It was during the last downtime where I was screaming in my sleep and he grabbed me and I stabbed him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then he spent all that time trying to elicit a rage response so that he could be like, "That's right. The anger will get you through this."
That's right. Submit to the dark side.
Yes.
Yeah, so he stands there. He comes to a stop. If no
one's actively standing in the hallway with us, she will totally give him a hug.
When you go to close your arms around him, that's when you realize that nobody was ever there.
Oh.
You're welcome.
She's having a bad day.
She is. And that was perhaps her conscience trying to reconnect. I don't know if it would be her conscience, but I'm not a head shrinker.
Oh,
so.
She is probably not going to be having... She is probably going to go find a locker room and spend some time chilling in the locker room now. And her watch alarm will go off and she'll drag her ass back to the med bay. Yeah. Or back to the troop bay.
Sounds about right.
She can go sit in the locker room with, in the corner with the water on and, one of the privacy showers and just sit there for a nice long time.
Yeah. Unless there is anything else you guys want to do here and now, we can move forward to our next segment. But it's entirely up to you guys.
I don't know. Does Warren and Pike need to have a hash it out moment over the fact that I told him what happened to Winston?
That's a very good question.
I think he's gonna bottle it up for just a moment.
So let me throw this one at you. When Pike comes back, now you had this conversation. You had this conversation with Wescott. Pike was
Mhm.
oblivious for the most part because he's busy up to his eyeballs. We know he only has 2 brain cells when you rub them together, working
Mhm.
on the paperwork. He leaves to go turn it in, right? When he comes back, at this point, you're pretty much by yourself because maybe Wescott's getting ready to go run laps.
Well, Wescott should be coming back about now and she will probably take a shower and leave him by his own
Yeah.
anyways, because she has to go write dead dude letters now.
That's a fair
Dead
point.
dude letters.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
there's several versions of names for those. I just can't remember them now off the top of my head.
We know what you mean. So yeah, you are at that point now, probably around 2-ish in the afternoon, and it's
Mhm.
just you and Pike in the troop bay.
So it's amusing that you've been talking about this and that we haven't been talking about this, because Pike turns in that after action report and comes back so Warren can think about this. And Pike sits down to write those letters.
Clearly, we need to have that task delineated.
I mean, I'm not sure who technically would have it as the supervisory person. I assumed she would since she's packing up their stuff.
Pike was in charge on the ground. That's why he's writing them.
And Wescott was in charge of those 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in charge of those 3. Well, 5, 4. But yeah. Well, maybe you guys can sit down and compare and contrast. And
I'm not sure who is supposed to write it, so she would defer as appropriate. That is a lack of player knowledge, not a character problem.
No. I think it's funny that Wescott would feel the responsibility to do it, and then Pike, being the actual section leader or whatever, would be the one to sit down and do it. Theoretically, it would be Pike or a lieutenant that would be writing those letters, or even a captain for that matter, the company commander. But obviously, we don't have that high of a rigidity.
None of them are here.
Yeah,
and
none
we're
of them
certainly
are here.
not going to ask the colonel to do it.
No, absolutely, the colonel will definitely.
But if you
might actually make him laugh that time.
But if you would probably know that if you wanted to write them, you could ask Pike to be the one to write them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's probably what she would ask then when he comes back, because she knows Pike.
So either way, we get Pike and Wescott to separate, and then now it is with Pike and Warren. They have a moment to themselves together. That sounded weird. You guys have a moment together where you can discuss whatever you feel like discussing. Pike, you can bring up his issues that you may think they're resolved, you're not sure. Warren, you can bring up that same set of issues, or you can bring up this new information, the fact that it was Pike that actually shot Winston. And Wescott.
I mean, as far as Pike is concerned, if Warren has been doing what he was supposed to be doing today, then he's like, cool, he's on track. He's good.
Yeah, I totally agree. Pike would be oblivious to any other modifiers in the interim.
And if Wescott asks to write those letters, he's totally fine with it. She knew them better than he did. Which means he's probably reading up on random literature about whatever world Eckhart came from.
That's oddly specific.
I think she came from Earth. Maybe not necessarily reading about the planet. You're reading about the region. And let's just say Eckhart, maybe she came from like the Midwest. You're learning all about like corn and Midwestern
the Midwestern
slang.
goodbye taking you several hours more to get out of the house.
You find the YouTube video for the Manitowoc Minute. I don't even know if I said that right.
Yeah, and like, yeah, you may have your Midwestern goodbye at 2 p.m. You're still staying for dinner and leaving about 8.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
we do that around here too.
He's probably just reading about whatever state she's from.
Yeah. Anyways, if you guys would like to see Pike and Warren, by all means, have at it.
Oh, I think that's up to Warren. Pike doesn't think anything's wrong.
Yeah, probably.
No, I think Warren's going to bottle it up a little bit and be like, yeah, so how was the report?
Long, complicated, complete.
Good.
Do you have anything you want to add to your notes?
No, I just wanted to make sure that everything was included and everything, but it was certainly hell up there, down there, adjacently there.
In there?
Yeah, in there. That's the one.
Well, we knew we were going to be attacking a strategic asset that could drive people nuts and heading right to the focus point of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. It was chaos from the start.
I mean, I think our tempo helped us out, but that had a lot of opportunities to go worse than it did.
Oh, we stormed that station and took it real quick.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
did a good
Too bad
job.
about Watts.
Yeah, I don't understand how that works, but does suck to lose a guy with experience.
And then he continues to count bullets or whatever it is he's doing right now.
Probably
As long as
busy
he's
at
not
this
testing
point.
out the bullets.
Yeah, I think at this point he's probably busy resealing all the bullet cans.
Yeah.
Which, of course, has to be done a certain way in order for the seal to be considered intact. And then there's like recording of the seal numbers for inventory purposes.
Just stamp the lead.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to do at this point as the ship? We're approaching roughly dinner time, and so we can argue that the Tamatam is getting ready to, maneuver for its orbital insertion burn.
Oh no, Warren is definitely going to bottle this up a little bit, and it's going to come out in an inappropriate time.
Absolutely. I love it because for the story that makes perfect drama sense. In real life, you're like, no man, you got a chance to talk about it. Now's the fucking time. But in a story, absolutely, wrong moment is the best time.
Yeah.
Oh, we're being attacked by 1,000 UPP commandos. By the way, Pike, I heard you killed my best friend.
You'll never believe what talent I just bought. Stealthy.
What's that one for you don't have to make an empathy roll to kill somebody?
Merciless.
Yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
he's talking about. Merciless.
No, stealthy as I just kind of like slip away.
Oh, no, he gets stealthy and then he gets merciless later. All right. Any scenes whatsoever? Anything? It's dinner time. I
No,
know we
I
have
have
our
a
own
feeling that
tradition for downtime dinners. On the backside, you're getting ready to head out.
Wescott has not recovered enough to have her, post-mission duel with
Yeah, we're not
Pike
even
yet.
close to that part. Yeah.
Yeah, she still has a giant, probably part of a hole in her chest and broken face still.
Yeah. And perhaps something of a broken heart because she tried to hug Tom and realized that Tom was never actually there.
Yeah, she is not having a good day.
Now she's got to ask herself, was he ever really there?
Listen, I will tell you above board, Tom is a real person. Tom Stevenson is a real person. You've met him, you've touched him, etc.
He warned you off?
Well, not only that, but other people around you interacted physically with him, getting each other drinks and stuff like that. From the first downtime, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, she's just now horrified.
Yeah. I mean, granted, absolutely free reign if you want to have the thoughts, the questions, like, was he ever real? And then you'll have to, mentally do the loops in your head to be like,
Poor Wescott.
he's gotta be
I
real.
feel so bad for Wescott.
Pike grabbed a full pitcher of beer from him, and then Tom dumped the pitcher of beer on Pike's head. I saw that happen at the pool.
Oh, yeah.
But unless somebody has anything to do with Pike, Pike thinks that everything is situation normal.
Oh, yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
All right, cool. Everything's
I
fine.
love it.
Whatever.
I love it.
So, yeah, I have a distinct feeling that it's going to be Wescott attempting to wail on Pike and then just sitting there crying in the middle of interrupted while attempting to wail on Pike.
Well, I'm just saying,
not gonna go well.
So let me be clear, because and maybe this is what I'm interpreting.
She has to make her depression checks to really have an effective fight, I think. Or she's just going to be overkilling for no good reason.
The reason why I'm asking and giving you the rough time of frame of day is this next scene that I had planned. This is not a good time to start it because I don't think we'll get through it before the end of the session. So
are you talking with the unit psychologist?
Correct. Because that would be the next thing that we'll do. You guys will
would
start
we
your
meet
liberty
with him before we get to Typhonus?
You will be going down. So the next sequence is going down to Tithonus to begin your liberty. But the first thing you have to do as part of your liberty this time is the meeting with the shrinks. But if we start that meeting with the shrinks, we probably won't finish it. And I would rather do the full scene however long it might take in a single session, as opposed to breaking it up over 2.
Hmm.
So what I'm getting at ultimately is we may wrap a little bit early tonight based
We did
on.
start a little bit late.
Well, we did start a little bit late, yeah, but we may wrap a little bit early just based on where we are narratively.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, she totally kind of would still attempt to fight with Pike if we had time for sparring. Because
You certainly can.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
After
point
the
out that this
psych.
was not the, because traditionally that's on the last evening prior to kicking off for the next mission, was when you guys had
Yeah,
that
we could
big
do it
dinner.
backwards because normally
Yeah.
we only get like a day off anyways.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it now and do another one
Well,
later
we
if
did
you
it
want.
in the mess hall after dinner that one time, so.
Well, that my understanding of the tradition is there's something of a spaghetti-ish dinner, then the sparring, and then everybody goes to sleep because you're about to go to FTL. Because when you come back from Tithonus, you're on the ship for several hours as it maneuvers away from the planet, and by the time you're done with dinner and sparring and whatever else, the ship goes into FTL, so you have to go to sleep, and
Yeah,
then you
so
wake up in your next
we're
mission.
just doing it on the front side instead of the back side
You could
because
do
we're
both
about
if
to
you
jump
want.
to Yeah, she is totally probably going to recommend, like, ask for sparring for later because so we would go to dinner.
Yeah.
Would anything interesting happen at dinner? Does
Oh,
Eckhart join
it's
us at dinner?
ooh, that's a good
Oh.
question. Would Eckhart show up? You know what, Pike? Roll me a 1d6. Let's see what happens. We'll do evens and odds. This is my new favorite way of resolving things, thanks to Pendragon.
Well, if we're doing evens and odds, then
You could literally roll any dice.
there's your 1d2.
Yep. She shows up. She sits down right across from Pike. Ironically, right next to Wescott.
I think Pike made dinner.
What did Pike make for dinner then?
I mean, it's not going to be anything overly fancy.
No, it's got to
because
come out of a box or a bag, and it takes like 20 minutes
Do
heating
we
in the
need to
water.
go look up the military cookbook for mess halls?
No, I'm telling you,
Because I know
this is
there
what
is
Pike
one.
knows how to cook. If it comes out of a box, it's simply added into a pan with other things and boil it. Or it comes in a bag, you put the whole bag into a pot of boiling water for a certain amount of time, and then it's done. That's all he knows how to cook.
I feel like he's found like those combination of things you put together to alter the flavor of something. You know,
Oh, yeah.
like what things do you put the Tabasco on and shit like that. But so he's gonna feel like he's taken something generic and spiced it up a bit.
Ye old box of mac and cheese with Tabasco. Oh, that sounds horrible, actually.
It's actually not as bad as you would think.
I say this because I don't like the taste of Tabasco, mostly because it's far more heat than there is taste.
Okay, I have a
But he's gonna
distinct
make the
hatred
food.
for jalapenos for that exact reason. I'd rather it be. I'm fine with habaneros, which are way more spicy. I hate the way jalapenos taste.
Ironically,
Jalapenos
I
are bad.
enjoy the jalapeno taste. I'm not a big guy of spice. And as far as anything spicy goes, I feel like jalapenos are on the very low end.
They are. They're
But
very
like the
mild.
flavor of a jalapeno is nice.
Is unusually strong.
I like it, but I'm not a fan of heat. So.
I would rather eat a handful of cilantro.
So during that time
Raw.
where he thought he was going to be writing these letters, and instead he read a little bit about Nebraska or whatever.
I was thinking Iowa, but go ahead. I don't think there's a. Well, I might have just offended 2 states by imply. There's not much difference between them.
He took some time to during the ammo inventory.
Mm-hmm.
He took. Actually, no, he probably didn't take. He probably just has these. In his locker, he'll pull out. He's got an ammo can where one side of it's just painted red.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll pop the top and he'll take out shot shells that have been emptied out and cleaned.
Okay.
And he'll put the plates out for everybody and then put a shot shell in front of every plate. And he'll take out the Jim Beam.
Ooh.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Are we about to have a Pike inspired drinking game?
No, and he's gonna fill each one. And he looks like he holds it out to pour it into Eckhart's to look for some sort of nod of confirmation.
Oh, for Eckhart? Oh yeah, she'll definitely imbibe.
Okay. So he'll pour the
totally
one.
Misunderstood what you were saying there for a second there.
So everybody has their shot shell shot glass.
Hold on, I need to interject. I'm sorry. Caution. I am not. Listen, I don't mind mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is not spicy to me. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm just not a big fan of spice because growing up, spice wasn't a thing for me in dinners and all that. Like putting spices in it. Now, I am the guy that has a handful of different spices that I will put into, like, if I'm cooking eggs, for instance, or various other things. There's a handful of spices I like putting in there. I enjoy smoked paprika. I enjoy ground cumin, various garlic salts and seasoning salts. I realize these are not spices in the way of like habaneros and ghost peppers and all that other shit, or ghost reapers, or whatever the fuck. But yes, I am otherwise very much a white guy. Please continue. I had to address that before it got taken too far out of context.
So I think he'll hold up his shot glass to the center for everybody.
Uh-huh.
And he says, Winston, a man who was adaptable enough to understand what roles he needed to be. A man who looked out for his team. And he'll tap it on the table and he'll take a shot.
Eckhart will. She'll have it up while you're speaking, and when you're done, she'll lift it up a little bit more. She slams it back, and she does a double tap on the table when she sits down.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she never really interacted with Winston, like, ever.
Ever.
Wow. Wow, Luke. Wow. Feel a little salty that she just took a shot for you?
Yes. No. I don't think either of my characters have ever actually interacted with
I think
her,
Eckhart might have interacted with Wescott very briefly. Otherwise, it was almost always
I think
with
we
Pike.
maybe have spoke briefly once.
Oh,
yeah.
And Warren was asked by Eckhart what part of Earth he may have been from.
Possibly,
we had like a single dinner with her where we did minor chit chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Wescott will follow suit, drink, tap on table.
Warren will sip with his pinky up. And then tap down.
You don't sip a shot at Jim Beam? Oh my god, that's hilarious. Do you want to get a little kid teacup, too?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, Luke. I'm fucking with you, man. But that was a hilarious image. Hashin regrets not getting here sooner. Sorry, bro. The show must go. All right, Kate, back to you.
He'll pour another shot for everybody. And then raise up again.
Yep.
Watts, a man who was on the wrong path and decided to walk a path of honor.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll knock it on the table and take the shot.
Dunk, dunk.
He'll drink it properly this time. And then tip it over.
Wow.
Right?
Warren, you're suddenly hit with this powerful urge to have a cigarette right now. As a smoker, I will tell you, while imbibing alcohol, you will smoke 2 to 3 times faster or more often and wake up the next morning feeling like somebody drove a garbage truck down the back of your throat.
Yup. All right, so I will reduce the amount of cigarettes by 5.
Yeah, I think you're definitely gonna want to have one now as you're waiting for people to bring the food around to fill your plate.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever your food is for this evening.
No, I actually recently quit smoking again.
Then you know these things.
Four day amount at this point, and it's crazy.
Oh, you're on day 4 right now?
I'm on day 4. I haven't vaped or had a cigarette, and
awesome. You're through arguably some of the hardest days.
Yeah. I think it's like day 3, right?
Well, obviously it varies person to person, but yeah, effectively, yeah. The first 3 to 5 days or the first week, depending on how you smoke. Like for me, I am very much a habitual smoker, and in that I smoke at very specific points in time during the day. So if I can make it through a full week of not smoking during those times, the only other issue I would have is what do I do with my hands, and what do I do when I have nothing else to do? Because that's also when I smoke a lot.
Well, this was my first day back at work too, so I was reaching for a vape that wasn't there all day long.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, yeah, that's right. I should just die in a corner here.
Yeah, so that's good though. So let me know if my smoking analogies, because of your smoking addiction in character, gets in the
I
way
am
with.
capable of separating.
Okay, all right, that's good. Not everybody can. Yeah, I don't know if I
Okay.
could. I don't know if I could roleplay a smoker as a non-smoker, having been a smoker. I think it would start getting
Be
a
a little
little too
awkward.
real.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
As the dinner's going, Pike will look over at Eckhart and say, I hear people from Iowa are really good at reading.
Fucking make an empathy roll for me. Or a manipulation. Make a manipulation roll. Jesus Christ, Kane.
A manipulation roll?
You're flirting with her.
Hey,
I am.
I don't think so.
He
I don't
thinks he
know.
is.
No, he is. He's just
He thinks he is.
absolutely shit at it. Oh, shit! He succeeds. Well, I'm not going to resist it. You know what? Just out of curiosity, I do have her as a character, don't I?
I did a quick Google search for random facts about Iowa, and apparently it has the highest literacy in the U.S. right now.
That's
sad,
So,
but probably not hard. If I...
On 2 dice, I also succeeded once to your 1 success. However, she smirks at you in that way that you know at this point that she's amused, but you also get the feeling that your flirtation attempt is either not recognized or it just doesn't hit. She just smirks at you. She's amused. She's amused. But if you're in the way of, if you think of it in a way as like gaining points, you haven't gained any. But she is amused. And she looks at you and she says, "Did you read that in a book?"
I did.
She chuckles. She's like, "Keep reading. I'm sure you'll find something far more useful than our propensity for literacy." And she uses propensity and literacy, throws a little extra emphasis on them because she knows they are larger words than what Pike is used to.
He thinks for a second. There's the squinting eye. And he reaches into a cargo pocket, pulls out a pad of paper, and tries to phonetically spell propensity on it to look it up later.
I think he gets literacy. I feel like that comes up.
He knows what literacy means.
Actually, propensity probably would too, but that might be a tougher word for someone who doesn't have all the brain cells, which Pike obviously doesn't have. But yeah,
he's gonna write down propensity in a way that looks like it sounds.
Yeah.
Stick it in his pocket.
In his head, that's how you spell propensity. Yeah.
Okay. I just have to say that 100 yield 2-portion chocolate chip cookies calls for 3 pounds and 5/8 of flour and 1 pound of whole frozen eggs.
That was semi-random, but okay.
Okay.
And 2 pounds of shortening. I pulled specifically the Marine Food Manual just to look it up, and the portioning is freaking hilarious.
Now I see the connection. That makes a lot more sense now. Yeah, no. Military cooking is.
They have the conversion charts for anywhere from 25 to 100 servings.
Yeah.
All along the front. Dude, they have a lot of cookie recipes. I'm a little surprised.
Cookies. You can stick them in pockets.
Yeah.
Brownies, marshmallow squares.
Great for a quick sugar pickup to revamp your energy for a little bit.
So I think Pike will, after attempting to be flirty, he will sort of ask the group in general. It's like, so all of you know where I came from. I know all of you, I've seen where you're from on paper. Some of you've talked about it. Where are you going to go after this gig's over?
Eckhart, just because I want to be first, but Eckhart just looks at you and she kind of narrows her eyes a little bit and she's like, "What are you getting at?" She doesn't say this, but she's got the look of like, "What are you getting at here?" And she's like, "Huh. I really gave it much thought of what's after this."
I mean, provided that you were going home standing instead of laying down, where would you go?
Obviously, I'm going home standing. I think this is where some of her cocky flyboy attitude starts kicking in a little bit. Obviously, I'm flying home, standing, well, sitting, because I'll be the one on the controls.
Yeah, of course. But where to?
Probably not back to Iowa. I've been to Iowa.
Seagull, a
You're
little
not
bit of
missing
that.
much.
Or what about you two?
Wescott's from a station in vaguely Sol and the Earth system, so probably back to the station at least a little bit, and maybe some colony world to retire on with some family. Got a couple brothers and sisters I need to go check on.
I think Eckert actually says something like 40 acres and a mule.
Yeah, I mean, after dealing with all the loud shots, it might be a nice way to, deal with the tinnitus.
I think that's the exact response that you get from her. Is that nonverbal, like, yep, I know.
I'm currently looking at a map of the U.S. and their states because I have to pick a new place other than Iowa.
Warren, I feel like Warren is from either like some farm town or like a big city.
He's from a farm town, yeah.
Okay.
He's from not Texas. But there's a lot of farm town in Texas.
I mean, there's a lot of farm towns in the U.S.
Texas is just weird culture land.
I mean, the note that all I have written down is that he's from Earth and that he was looking that he he enlisted so that he could send cash home to help his family.
Yeah, and I vaguely recall something about several brothers or something like that.
That's Wescott, actually.
That could be.
But she's not from Earth. She's from a space station.
It was Warren too, yeah, from like 15 or something siblings.
How many siblings do you have?
15 siblings.
And they're from the same mother?
No, it's like 3 fathers and 2 mothers, and there's like a whole thing. It was funnier in my head, to be honest.
Is it a commune situation?
Sounds like a James Holden situation to me.
I think all of you guys glossed over that detail and were like, yeah, no, it's a totally normal family that he did. And well, that's it.
That's because Pike found it as a bonding moment with Warren.
Yeah.
For reasons that are also unusual.
Because he also comes from a family of many siblings. It's just that his family construct is somewhat different than yours.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, Wescott has a similarly peculiar situation. If she has a bunch of non-blood related brothers and sisters because they were all orphans in the same place.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many of my Simcoe are still alive.
It's a Simcoe. The best part is everybody here in this cast knows exactly what he means. I don't have to explain it.
What is...
All right, fine. Yeah, I think I will go back home to Texas and decide that now it's Texas that I live in.
That's about right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get into the weird people, you kind of go closer towards Nevada and then a little north.
Yeah, and it's, football is big in Texas and stuff like that, and he kind of has that football attitude to himself, so...
Oh, football's massive in Texas. What are you talking about?
It's the second religion in Texas, basically.
No, it's not. It's the first. All other religions are second.
All I know is, living in Canada, I went to 1 football game in my life.
Was it in Texas?
No.
That would have been an experience, brother, let me tell you.
Oh, that would have been, yeah.
I've had to sit through a bunch
of that. Shit on like 4 states tonight. Let me stop talking for a little bit.
Yeah, so I had to go to... My brother played football in high school, so I got to go to plenty of games. Let me tell you, I've never seen a group of guys be more happy to jump around in circles wearing tights and pads, chanting, going hoo, 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 as they're jumping up and down. Haven't gotten over that scene mentally yet.
I feel like nobody would.
So I think
I distinctly remember.
My mom and I have forever referred to it as the hoo-hoo circle since then.
Oh my god.
So my
another out of context comment, by the way. Sorry.
So my football experience was actually kind of weird because it was like some friends of mine were like, "Hey, we're going to the football game tonight," and it was like this like high school thing that was like the homecoming or not homecoming. It was really vague, and I'm like, we have a football team, and they're like, yeah, let's go. And then I just ended up at the stadium where we had a football team fighting another football team from another high school that I barely knew anything about, and I'm like, this is actually high school. That's right.
Yeah, I think Pike, like as he's asking and listening to these answers about where people would go, he looks very thoughtful. Um, it is like a couple moments where it looks like he's thinking about something to say and he just doesn't. He's just listening to people's answers.
I kind of look. I kind of grin at Pike a little bit and go, "Well, Mr. Staff Sergeant Pike, the born and bred Marine, do you have any ideas what you would like to do?"
I recently looked up some program details, and there's nothing that says that I'm prohibited from leaving.
I think at that point, Eckhart kind of pops up like, this guy who's literally bred to be a Marine, he's leaving in a box. And then she laughs. Like, she doesn't mean it as a insult or anything. She's truly trying to throw a joke. Now, whether or not Pike takes it that way, of course, is a different story, especially right now. In fact, it might be amusing to be offended by that.
You know, as a Wits 1 Empathy 1 character, I'm not going to roll to try to hide it. Pike looks deeply hurt by that.
Oh.
Damn. Now I got to make a empathy
Okay,
roll.
now, okay. I'm sitting next to her. She gets an elbow.
Yeah.
She catches an elbow in the midsection.
A hint.
Yeah, she definitely fucked that one up. She's going to make a...
Like, I obviously hit her enough that she slides a few inches. And I was just looking going, ooh, that was rude.
Yeah, and I think there's recognition that maybe she should have just kept her mouth shut, but there's also almost a lack of remorse, I guess is the best way to play that, because I failed that roll. Wait, no. If I fail an empathy roll, that means I feel it, right?
No.
Like,
that means you...
This is you're doing Rule Zero stuff right now. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Do whatever makes sense story-wise. Don't even roll for her.
Not only that, but like it was a hint as a manipulation of like, hey, get your situation correct.
Yeah.
And if she failed that, then she was like, oh yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, I think she takes the elbowing and the look on Pike's face, and she's just like,
the death glare from the other two.
Yeah, and she's like, hey, who wants a shot? And she reaches for the bottle. Actually, no. I take that back. Thirsty. I think more accurately or better for her, I think she would reach into a cargo pocket and pull out one of her own bottles that she sometimes does not ever carry around with her. And it's not Jim Beam. It's probably like a tequila or something. And starts filling everybody else's glasses. And then she makes sure that Pike's has, as best as she can for the shots that they are, puts a little extra in his. And says, as she bottles it back up and puts it back in her pocket and lifts hers up, she says, to the future, whatever that may hold for any of us.
To the future.
And then she knocks it back, double taps it on the table. She suddenly hears everyone talking Chinese in open mouth.
Anyhow,
anything else? Yeah. Definitely had a moment there. I don't know. Hopefully she made a bit of a recovery. Pouring out her own booze. Anything else?
Yeah.
Anything else we want to get into with these guys? Otherwise, we go ahead and start moving to our outro phase.
Okay, so I guess we don't need to have Beat Punch Pike at the moment.
I mean, if you want to.
I mean, I could get away with doing it twice because we'll be having 2 sessions. I might enjoy this. I say I mean Wescott might enjoy punching him after the drama.
We know what you mean.
But I also think it would be funny.
If you guys want to tussle.
Yeah, I mean, the after dinner, we're walking out, she just goes, Staff Sergeant Pike, more close quarters practice or whatever code phrase we're using, occasionally beating the shit out of each other for.
I think we just
And
call it
it's mostly Wescott
sparring,
losing.
don't you?
Yeah. Up for more sparring?
I think there's a couple of Marines nearby that suddenly start taking bets because they overheard you.
I'm always up to throw hands.
We switch the view around. Let's go ahead and get your dicey rolls in. I'm not gonna roll initiative. I'll let you guys figure that out.
Pike takes a ready stance and waits for you to come at him.
Oh, so he's giving me first hit again?
Yep.
Okay. Need to remind you, I now have more points in close combat than I do tech.
Yes, I remember you saying something about that, I think last week.
Yeah. Dude.
Look what Pike has done to you.
Indeed.
I also took flyweight, so I can now use my agility instead of strength to block, which gives me another point on top of that for blocking.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I have put as much as possible to make it possible for her to do anything.
See some rolls.
Okay, I have to put my unarmed attack back where it's supposed to be first. Yeah, I guess she swings first.
That panic roll.
Oh, this is not going to be good.
Yeah, you're fine.
Huh?
Yeah, I think he's got to give up his fast action to go for the block.
You do more damage on the block than the actual attack.
Yeah.
Are you rolling Nova?
No, that's his normal.
Jesus fuck, dude.
He has a shit ton of skills dropped into that.
Yeah. So
Total of 5 successes.
You go for that punch, and like he just like with one hand slaps your fist down and then elbows you in the face for 5 damage.
Oh, that's gonna suck. I almost want to argue that you take an extra point of damage because your nose is broken and hasn't quite
Well,
fully
it doesn't
healed.
matter. It still lays her out flat anyways.
I figured that was gonna be because you only have like 2 health or something.
I only have 4 hit points.
Oh, you're up to 4 now.
I've had 4 for a very long time, ever since I bought toughness.
That's right.
I only have 2 strength.
Yeah.
Would you like to roll to stand yourself back up?
Second wind.
Yeah, she might as well. Okay. Let's see. Stamina checks. See if this does any better. I also put point in stamina.
Wait,
so she
got a good
do
stamina.
you roll stress on this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you stand up with 1 hit point.
Yep. And you may. No, actually, I think. Oh my god. I think it's Pike's turn to attack, or did you give up your attack?
I just gave up my slow action.
Okay.
Or my fast action. Sorry. Block.
Uh-huh.
So now you can actually attack her.
So now it's my turn to attack with my slow action.
This
which she would try to
is
block.
going to be awful.
Yeah, this is going to be rough.
Yeah.
I'm
He
going.
just rolls so many more dice than I do.
God, and only got 1 success in there. Well, 4 now.
4 successes.
All right.
And then,
Make your block attempt.
I think I have to roll with my unarmed because I have weapon specialist. Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, your unarmed attack in your inventory. And then just add bonus dice. That is the difference between your agility and strength.
It's just 1, but still need to put in there.
Still another die.
Oh, wow.
Roll your panic.
So I'm gonna, and you know what? She just mitigated all of your damage, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I like the idea maybe that like he does the elbow to the face and you lose consciousness till you hit the mat, pick yourself up, and he just sort of casually goes to like kick you in the side of the head and he misses because he didn't expect you to be mobile again yet.
Wescott,
it's like, oh, he's never seen the flyweight before, so you were faster than he was expecting.
Yeah.
The defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's new since the last time, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's getting incrementally better.
Yeah, and
It's
you
still
have
not
that,
enough.
and Wescott, you have that moment where you're like, oh fuck, that really fucking hurt, and you bounce off the floor, come back up to your feet, and then he's kicking, and it's almost like Neo in the Matrix, slow motion for a second, and you just like sidestep, duck, something, and now it's your turn to strike back, and you recognize, you see the emotional expression change in Pike's face when he's like, oh shit, that's new. And now you have effectively an opening where you could just do something horrendous to his body.
It
Not
is your turn.
not
again at
because
the
you
top
have
of the
a
initiative order.
advantage or anything silly, but like it's your turn.
Yeah. Yeah, she's gonna try swinging at him again.
Would you like to push that?
Yes.
Oh shit! All right. Well, you've got 4 successes at the moment, but I do
Zero
need that
stress.
stress. You're good. All
He
right.
will use his fast action to block.
And you also mitigate. No.
Oh,
You
5
that's it.
successes.
I think you do a point of damage back to her.
I do 2 points of damage.
Yeah. I think he now has caught a passed out Wescott.
So
Again.
So what attack did you do? And then Pike, what did you do to counter it and drop her back on the ground?
She probably would have tried to maneuver around to
Oops.
like a side or something so she wasn't focusing on, because she's trying to leverage a little bit more of her speed, and she goes for like just like a side jab or something, and he just catches her.
Okay. And then effectively floors her with whatever.
So I think she goes in for like that side jab, and like he was surprised by her speed on the defense, so he decides that he needs to go faster. And with his like agility 5 speed, you go to the side and go for the jab, and he just turns his head and gives a quick jab to your face. And his arm is longer, so you're going in for that jab, and he hits you, and you put your face into his fist.
It's almost like that moment in Justice League when
he's
Superman
like
sees the
almost
Flash.
2 feet taller than her. His arms are at least like a good 8 inches longer than hers.
Oh yeah, it's
easily,
almost like,
if not more.
It's almost like that moment when Superman is tracking the Flash when he's fighting the Justice League in the Justice League movie. Like he's got, I want to say he's got like Aquaman in one hand, and here comes Flash, and Superman does one of these. It trips up the Flash. I feel like that's kind of what happens with Pike, and he's like, "I see you." Bloop.
I'm pretty sure he probably just pops her lightly on the face, and she's just down again.
Yeah. Absolutely. And there's,
I think once she goes down, he'll look at the Marines that have gathered around to watch this and says, "This might be a streak for her against me. She could take 2/3 of you."
I think you hear a few people murmuring. There's a little bit of agreement and a little bit of disagreement, but mostly there's a couple of dollar bills being changed hands as people had bet one way or the other. Warren, would you like to, quote unquote, step into the ring, or in this case, step onto the mat?
No, I don't believe I would like to do that.
Okay. You are having another urge to have a cigarette, by the way.
Warren doesn't have the constant death wish that Wescott does.
No. Well, more accurately, Warren doesn't have the need to prove himself as much as Wescott does. Warren has to prove himself in other ways, like being an actual useful member of the team because he has a galactic cross to validate.
No, he doesn't need to be useful to the team. He needs to do something so absurdly stupid that if he lives, it's heroic.
Yeah.
He just has to do it once.
She's done every time. He's done it every time.
Knifed, thrown a knife into a Xeno, killed it,
Survived,
saving his boss's life at the same time.
Throwing a grenade into an airlock and still surviving.
Yep.
While standing inside airlock.
Mission.
Yep.
The mission before that was what was the mission before that?
That was
Pandora,
the Pandora
right?
mission. Yeah.
There's also
what stupid thing?
There's also the civilian that you headbutted into submission.
That's what he did on Pandora. He headbutted somebody.
He accidentally
He He did also Looney Tune rigged trapped an entire hallway to make sure that he could like shoot
He
a
did do
wire
that. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
and then blow up some bad guys. So that was like 2.
So yeah, really,
Wrist-
you know, when you
wrist-
think about it, and you go and point these events out. Wow, Warren is actually kind of a badass. He goes,
He
he's
is.
almost
a
better
vaguely
than Pike.
suicidal kind of way.
So I'll, like,
3
I'll-
missions ago was the knife,
Yeah,
and then 4 missions ago was at the
the Blaze of
the-
Glory, or the
Blaze of
Glory of the
Glory.
Proletariat. Bleh.
yeah.
Glory of the
Proletariat.
Proletariat. That was
What
really
did he
hard to
do
say.
that's dumb there? Oh,
He carried around a barrel of high explosives, and I'm pretty sure we all get caught with that one.
yeah, but he also got ambushed and meleeed 3 prisoners who ambushed him because
Oh,
Winston
yeah.
left him.
Yeah, because
He's
Winston
had a
walked out
terrible
on him.
time.
Yeah,
He had a terrible time this entire mission base thing. Let's face it. He's not had a very fun time.
it's a wonder that all he's doing is smoking and drinking coffee.
Yeah.
I'll pour some water on Wescott's face, wake her up.
Yeah, Wescott. The next thing you know, somebody's dumping water on you, and it's like,
Yeah, Wescott is just she sputters and just lays there for a moment and goes, "Ow,"
You've,
and the
Ow.
deadpan ow.
but I'm getting better. Ow.
you got it was a nice trick of speed you picked up there.
Working on it. Incremental improvements, man.
Is-
And then she kind of just
It's
rubs her
fine.
eyes and go, "Oh, sorry, Staff Sergeant." Rubs eyes again.
As long as you're chasing this bar, you can already kick 2/3 of the asses on their ship,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll reach down to pull you up.
Yeah. She pulls up. She gets up with him assistance. Probably wobbles a moment, stands back up.
That you keep training with me, you'll keep getting better. But you're already one of the best fighting normies that I know. You've made a lot of improvement,
I mean, hell, you
even if your face
Literally, like 5 sessions ago, he was trying to break her brain, and now he's complimenting her, and I think it's throwing her for even more of a loop.
it's yeah. I mean, you're doing really well for a normie.
How does it feel when he calls you normie? Not the fact that he's giving you a compliment, giving you positive feedback of any kind right now at the same time, but he called you normie a couple of times. Handful of times over the last several months.
I'm pretty sure my response has always been to pat him on the back and go, "Yes, mutant." It was very quiet. Or, yes, Staff Sergeant Mutant, very quietly, with no one else can overhear, because she's not stupid.
That's fair.
She's learned her lesson once. She does not need to learn that one again.
Pike has a plan.
Yeah, it's about corrupting his teammates.
Is he planning on like being nice now?
No. Well, he has a plan. I think it'll be more fun when he just subjects her to it.
Oh God.
All right. On that note, I think it's about time we do some wrap up, and that always begins, of course, with experience points. So, every character that participated tonight, of which, of course, there's only the 3, the 2 new guys have not yet made their initial appearances, 1 experience points for participation.
Nice.
Did you risk or sacrifice something to further your personal agendas? I don't think anybody did. Which is fine, because it's a downtime. Did you risk your life for your buddy? Nope. Did you challenge or stand up to your rival, the Eye of the Tiger Claws?
I mean, I kind of have Pike as both my rival and my buddy at the moment.
You stood up to him for the sparring.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
That's
allow
one of those
that. It's a little on the narrative side, but
yeah.
She also keeps doing these because she really wants to get a solid punch in her rival's face.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a part of her
repeatedly
motivation.
getting trounced into the floor with hope that one time she can get a good punch in his face.
Yeah. And not just to prove that she can, but because, fuck it, she needs a punch in the face.
He needs one, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant, yeah. Panic rolls. I think we had 2 of y'all do that. Am I crazy?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Did you overcome a dangerous event? I don't think we had any of those. Risk harm from Pike because Pike. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Any significant discoveries or revelations? Sort of. Wescott.
Not for me.
Well, I mean, Wescott now knows she's slowly going crazy. But I'm
Well,
not
there
sure
was
that really
also
counts.
the Watson find.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a moot point because he's dead, but finding out that your former partner, well, your former
Yeah,
teammate,
finding out that
is,
my medic is counting coup is a problem, but he's dead.
right.
And the other one was hustle on illicits, but I kind of figured that, and he is effectively dead.
Right.
So
I mean, it's a discovery. It's just there's
Just
not
not
much
an important
relevance
one.
anymore after this point. So you can take this point now.
Sure,
No,
I'll take the free XP.
I like the idea that discovering that your medic was becoming a serial killer was kind of a big discovery.
Yeah, I definitely put that in there because we needed some closure on that angle. I thought about that, and I was like, this fucking serial killer never got to become a serial. Jesus Christ, the serial killer didn't get a chance to flourish as a serial killer could flourish because he was cut down before it could happen. So I had to put a little bit of closure on that. You're welcome, Luke, for thinking of your character's now abruptly deceased arc. I'm being a bit too much right now. But yeah, I really thought we needed that moment of like, yeah, this guy was definitely about to become a serial killer. Did you perform an extraordinary action? I don't think we had any of those either.
Pike,
Nope.
with a skill roll, attempted to flirt.
Okay,
yeah,
you know what?
That
is, by definition of the word, that is extraordinary. Go ahead, Pike. Take that point. It is absolutely extraordinary that Pike attempted flirting. There's definitely a part of me that really hopes that Pike and Eckhart end up married with kids in about 10 years.
I think that would be hilarious.
I think they're going to have to get special approval from the military for that.
The only reason...
Now that you kind of get out of the military, at that point, nobody gives a shit.
The only reason
yeah, they do, Mr. Automated Boom Project over there.
That project is shut down.
The only reason that I really want Pike to survive this campaign is so that if Eckhart lives, there could be a chance for a really fun epilogue with Eckhart.
That'll be interesting.
You mean the beginning of next campaign?
Yeah, where she's the pilot season. And I'm on the ship.
Yeah, as lovers.
Yeah.
just the most like wholesome like epilogue. Everyone else is dead.
Yeah.
No, we get to the end, we all retire, and we turn around and go, fuck, how did we retire next to each other?
It's like a lot of those shows where it's like, oh, look, we spent 20 years together, and yet now that we're no longer obligated to do those years together, we're still together for the next 15.
That's trauma bonding.
I also like the idea that the guy who's like easily like the evil person of the party is the one who's shooting for a wholesome epilogue.
That is amazing, by the way. All right, everybody takes one more additional point for still receiving your paycheck, unless Pike docks anybody's pay.
Yeah.
Feedback and outros. We'll start with Kane. Kane, we didn't have a lot going on. It was mostly some downtime in a very literal sense for the players as well, just to do a little bit of RP. But Kane, give me some feedback and any other outro-y bits. What do you got?
Pike is asking questions about what life outside the Marines is like.
I noticed. And I thought that was a really interesting way to bring that in because previous to this mission, 1 to 2 separate people told you things like, maybe you should think outside the box. Badge Man, Colonel Arnold, they've all been pushing for you to think outside of what you normally think. The military lane, such a short, narrow, straight lane. They're all trying to get you to think outside of that. Now Pike has naturally evolved into But what about after the military? For the first time ever.
Yeah, he looked up to see if there's anything in the program that specifically prohibited from leaving the Marines. And there
I mean,
isn't.
the program effectively has been shut down, as I understand it. I mean, obviously, there's actively serving AWs, but the program itself is done as far as creating them.
Yeah.
We have what do we call them? The Black Guard. They all wear black armor, work for the general.
I think the only person who would have any idea that the Blackguard exists might be Pike, because I probably tried to roll him in with the other AWs that were being pulled from other units.
Possibility.
And he volunteered to work with Normie Marines instead.
The weirdly sociable one.
Because he is the weirdly sociable one.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else?
Nope.
Luke the Fox. What do you got?
Yes.
What do you have? Feedback, outro comments. We've got a character slowly spiraling into an addiction that may or may not progress, may or may not balloon into something else.
Yeah, we'll have to find out how that works out, and we'll have to see how some of the things balloon and get bottled up later too. Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting.
I think so too. I do like. There's a part of me that already is, as dumb as this may sound, but I don't know any other way to express it. There's a part of me that's already kind of missing Winston.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you've seen him for so many sessions.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that, right? But like, there was the promise or the potential of so much more that could happen with him as a character, right? Could he be redeemed? Could he hit a point where he cannot be redeemed? You know? And now we'll never know.
I don't think he was redeemable, but that's just a speculation.
I mean, at this point, at the point where he died, yes, he was potentially still redeemable, but could he have fully committed yellow eyes, tackling, shooting lightning bolt from his hands, Sith? Or could he be redeemed by throwing said cackling yellow eyes lightning on a shaft?
Yeah, and I really did kind of want to have the final showdown be him as the apprentice of Pike, and then the whole team, like, them fighting each other kind of deal.
That's right. Use your anger, strike me down, and rule the galaxy in my place.
But like he would die for Pike at that point, I think. But with Warren is a lot more hopeful, and I think it's actually going to like play into the overarching story of like how to determine if Pike is actually a bad guy or not.
Yeah,
I think Winston had it all wrong, to be honest. The more I see into the reality of the situation,
I think in some ways Winston saw Pike's ability to not just survive, but possibly even thrive in this sort of crazy, right? And realized that the only way for himself to be able to do that is to become like Pike. He didn't know
but
another way.
He had an idealized vision of what Pike was.
Right.
You know what I mean? He didn't know what Pike was about. Yeah.
He didn't realize he was a maniacal murderer.
Yeah. So like it wasn't a clear vision as to what he needed to become, but he became something else entirely, I think.
Absolutely. And now Warren is the kid who has had that golden light moment of saving people's lives, recognition for it, and then now nobody believes him. And now, as we discussed tonight, several times over the course of the campaign so far, has actually done some really tremendous things, but never got the recognition for it. And now he looks at Pike. You know, how does he look at Pike? What is he going to do moving forward to reconcile various conflicts, either within himself or around himself? So I think
he got recognition when we found him in the airlock, when like Pike just straight up was like, that was some good shit.
Yeah,
like,
he did. He did. And he's gotten recognition along the way, but I think in the realm of like what is and what isn't recognition, it may not have registered as positive feedback recognition as often as it might have been, or as loud as it could have been. You know what I mean?
How was that received by Warren?
Yeah, I mean, that's really the biggest thing.
That's the thing that kept him on the like bottling it up side, because he was like, I don't know if I should like make a big deal out of that, but like it was part of the mission.
Yeah.
I'm actually really interested to see what it was, the art, the armor art that was going to be added to Warren for this particular mission, and even Pike.
I'm
Okay,
curious.
so Pike and Wescott had similar ideas for Warren's armor art, but I'm going to defer adding it to him because I'm pretty much the only one who could add it to Pike's, you know?
Okay.
Asking that we hold off on revealing that until the appropriate time.
Yeah, but I'm just
about
saying,
the time
it's like
you guys
I'm
get
really
ready to armor
excited.
up again.
Yeah.
Just because I want that anticipation, I want to try to build it up a little bit. You got anything else,
Yeah,
Luke?
it's gonna be good. No, that's everything.
All right, Rodance, what do you got for us? Outros, feedbacks. What's happening with your character?
So the only person she could have even remotely had the chance into confessing like a normal person in with might have been Winston from the he's the medic perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And now she can't confess down.
Right.
And she can't confess up.
But it's not the most productive.
So she's stuck also bottling it up. And she's already on the edge of being no bueno.
Yeah.
So we shall
you know
see
who she can confess to?
You mean her dear fictitious Tom
Stevenson.
Yeah, you mean her hallucinations?
Are they?
If she starts actively talking with her hallucinations,
I mean, listen, I will tell you right now, as your GM, I can make those fake Tom moments more frequent if you think that will fit your character. But I will also say that Tom Stevenson is a real flesh and blood non-player character in this campaign.
Yes,
and you will interact with him, have interacted with him.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. By the way, did you see what I just tried to roll for and failed?
I saw that, yes. Yeah. It took me a second because I noticed you rolled, and then a moment later I noticed that you had typed what you were rolling for.
That's how I always roll them. That's always
I
always type out what I'm rolling first.
Because I was in the middle of talking about Winston, and I didn't realize it put it all together right away.
When Kane saw what I did. He laughed.
Yeah, I bet.
I do forget one thing.
What's that?
I put in Warren for a Bronze Star.
Oh, really? Okay. What do I need to do as the GM other than the approval of that? Is there anything I'd throw on his sheet or anything?
It's entirely narrative.
Okay.
I'm third place.
That's not
quite what a Bronze Star is, but I love the idea.
But it's for his actions supporting Watts and then continuing against overwhelming enemy force.
You know what I love most about that? And then in a very dark humor sort of way. Again, I have not read this caveat or warning. I make no truly, like, I'm making light of certain things, but I'm doing it in such a way I hope that I'm pointing them out so that other people are more aware. There was about a 5-minute stretch of recorded time where Warren was this close to dying. And not because somebody else was shooting at him. And what is amusing to me in a little bit is that he's getting all these accolades for that moment of throwing that grenade. When we all know, if we think about it, if we remember that moment, it was a single dice roll that changed it from a gunshot to a grenade throw.
Yup. It was going to be either really dark or really dark.
Yeah. Now,
but he put in a package to give him a Bronze Star for that, and then we've got a Purple Heart package for everyone who got hurt.
Which is
does that mean I get the personal agenda thing?
What was your personal agenda?
Prove I earned a medal, and by I earned another.
You know
medal.
what? I think yes. Is there anything mechanical for that when you accomplish your agenda?
I think it doesn't make sense giving it to him now because he hasn't gotten it yet. But
no,
I think there's a session where he gets it for sure.
Yeah, that I definitely would have to account for that, like for game prep. So when I do plan for the awarding, that's when that goal is completed. Like for instance, like as Kane and I could easily tell you, because we just completed one of our major arcs. We completed the season for Imperium Maledictum. And if you complete your major goal, it's 500 XP, which is a big deal. I don't know if Aliens has something similar to that for
No.
your agenda.
You just get an XP for making action towards it, and then
Okay.
if for significant narrative reasons it changes, like if him receiving that bronze star is like narratively so significant to him that
Mhm.
that agenda is like completed, then he just comes up with a new one.
Okay. Well, in that case, it would be totally up to you, Luke, to figure out what you want to do. Whether does that bronze star, if approved and if awarded, does that give Warren the sense of validation that he's been seeking, or is it more like this is just candy? Anybody can get candy. Let me prove that I actually earned that fucking thing. You don't have to answer that now, obviously. It's just something for you to think about. Because it will happen.
I'm considering.
It will happen.
Yeah, well, unless he dies next session somehow.
In a
Please
head
don't
shrinking
make
office?
Wescott's.
The shrink shoots him.
Please don't. Please don't
The
make
shrink.
Wescott's agenda any worse off than it already is.
The shrink stresses Pike out so much, he rolls berserk and just punches him in the side of the head.
No, you know what I thought of? Again, dark humor moment, but I really thought that somewhere along the way, Warren is just like, this session is killing me. I can't even smoke. I'm done. Like, just all the emotional turmoil, and he can't smoke, and everything else, it just adds up to too much and stresses himself out. And at the end of the day, that's where he's at.
Well, at least I can say that Pike has successfully turned Wescott into especially crazy because she has overkill. She will never ever go catatonic again. You know, she will literally just go overkill, and then they're gonna have to deal with her just randomly killing people.
I mean,
Or
you're
we
gonna
just
kill
skip her
things.
over.
But you kill things that you perceive as hostile.
Yeah.
It's not random like Berserk is.
Yeah,
just tip
that's
you
the
over.
benefit,
It'll
I
be fine.
guess. But
All right, my
I'll see.
friends. All right. Anybody else? Last second or last chance?
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
feel
be
like
interesting to see.
I feel like during this psych session, you might be able to pick up Merciless from Pike because he's going to be talking totally candidly to this shrink.
The best
shrink's
part is
cleared.
he's going to be doing it candidly and so openly without any forethought or second thought or afterthought or any thought. And he's just going to be like, yeah, so we found we found an alien queen and we went up to it and we shot the shit out of it. And then I had to knife it and it died and we won.
Oh, and it made
God.
my medic look like a UPP commander, so I shot him in the head.
Yeah, and just deadpan
and you shot
it.
me
You
too.
gotta just deadpan it though, like no emotion. You gotta Colonel Arnold it.
He's
And
not
my
stressed-
medic.
He's not stressed out about any of this, so
Yeah. Wescott is the stressed out one. Poor Wescott, man.
Warren might be too.
If he has to listen to all this, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Winston was the least stressed.
Yeah, Winston was just a weird animal, man. After the first few sessions, after that first mission, I think, Winston just started going downhill. It was amazing to watch. As a viewer, I'm sure it had to be amazing to watch. You know, when you're looking at character arcs and shit. I thought it was amazing. And I can't wait to see what happens next. But
mechanically, he would get up to like three steps and just like reduce immediately and just be like, yeah, I'm fine.
As we could later find out, it's because he became a psychopath.
Yep.
Which actually, in retrospect, makes perfect fucking sense.
Why not?
Let's get the fuck out of here. That is it for us here tonight. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the chatters tonight. We had a few. We had some interesting conversations, interesting comments thrown out there. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. For my YouTube viewers, of course, if you enjoyed the show, please hit like, subscribe, notifications, share, whatever other button there is. I would really appreciate it if you liked it. In the video description down below, you will see a link for the Discord server. By all means, please come hang out with us. Come throw some ideas at us. Come talk to us about whatever it is that you've got going on inside your brains. We'll always be happy to have conversations with everyone's. What else do we got? So tomorrow should be Tides of Acheron, a Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader role-playing game campaign thing, tabletop stuff with Warpy bits. But that is unfortunately dependent on whether or not the water and power situation in that one part of Florida gets taken care of or does not interfere, because at least one of my players is down in that affected area. So we may or may not be doing Rogue Trader tomorrow. It looks like we will, but more to follow, because obviously once the storm rolls through, that's only the beginning as far as all of that crazy shit that can happen. Thursday and Friday may or may not be streaming based on various things that I may stream. I don't know yet. I do have a plan. It's just a matter of what gets changed between now and then. But other than that, that's it for us here tonight. Stay safe out there, my friends. This world is a crazy dark place, so make sure you're doing what you have to do to take care of you and yours. And as for me and mine, we're out of here. See you next time. Have a good one.